Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
If Steph Curry didn't show up at home last night, don't worry. I'm sure he just missed his ride. He missed 9 three-pointers last night.
And they still won.
0 for 9. Where was that in 2015, 17?
Yeah.
Why, he never played like that against the Cavs.
Says something about that team, though, man.
They still found a way.
They found a way.
Yep.
They found a way.
Because of former Cavalier Wiggins. That's why.
It's always got a Cleveland connection.
Brought the Wiggins heat.
He saved his ass last night.
Yeah.
He really did. Because if not for what he did last night, Wiggins, they're going to Boston for a closeout game, and they typically don't lose closeout games
and
when they play
Draymond
in
played
Boston.
well. He hasn't had a great
Yeah,
series,
no, he did. He played well in sports.
By the way,
for
it's
sure.
been a miserable 24 hours for me, let me say.
We're already in.
I gained weight. I had a really bad week. I knew it was coming. I had a bad week. We'll get to it later. My Little League team got, beyond destroyed yesterday.
I know.
Really? You guys were taking a step in the right direction.
We've been playing great. It was a lot. I don't even want to say the score. I'll say it. We lost 26-7.
That's not strong.
Wow.
Especially because I bet $10,000 on that game.
You did. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Lost my ass.
Hey, with your betting record, maybe not a bad idea.
Most importantly, today I was excited when I walked in here at 10 o'clock because we had tables, right? They had given us finally little tables.
Yeah.
And then, because we have a guest in the studio, we've lost our table.
took them away.
We lost my table.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I want to say, I know we're going to do the weight loss challenge coming up, but I want to tell you this. Don't lose faith. There's the tables right there.
There's the table.
Don't be discouraged. Don't lose faith.
Thank you.
You proved to everybody that you lost 13 pounds in the
I
first
know.
week. So it's not a matter of can you do it.
And everybody
you know you can.
And every fat guy and fat woman out there knows the struggle.
It's
know
real.
the struggle. It's tough.
The struggle is
Hang in there.
Yeah,
You're still down from where you started.
I am.
And that's good news.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
All right, welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, everybody. Jay Crawford, along with G. Bush. Today we have Mike Polk in, and, of course, Adam the Bull is in. We're going to, later in the show, have former Cavalier big man Channing Frye on the show. He is an emerging media star. I don't know if you guys have seen him.
He's great, yeah.
He's just tremendous.
Yeah.
Does a great job for TNT. And we're looking forward to having him in just a little bit. But we begin with a little bit of news on the Deshaun Watson case. Yesterday it was revealed that there are now accusers number 25 and 26, of which the suits are expected to be filed very soon. Number 25 was referred to Tony Buzbee, who is the attorney representing the first 24 women. This accuser was actually referred to him by an Atlanta attorney. I don't know what that says. I don't know if that means that this one took place in Atlanta and not in Houston. I don't know because we really don't have any details. The 26th accuser said she was inspired to come forward after she watched the HBO little drama that they had in their program, Real Sports, a couple of weeks back. So the number is currently at 24. 25 and 26 are expected to come soon. Buzbee on the timeline says there's no particular time frame. Watson hasn't said anything to the media since that initial introductory news conference back on March 25th. He may or may not talk today because the Browns open their minicamp today. So if he's going to talk before training camp, this would likely be the day to do it. He may do it on the day that they close, which is on Thursday. One other thing that I wanted to point out, we know that these cases have been pushed off to 2023 because of the ruling that these aren't going to take place once the football season begins. So it looks like these will eventually go to trial after this season in 2023. But there is one date to keep in mind. June 30th, the end of this month, which is just a couple of weeks away. That is the date that the judge in the case has set for pre-trial discovery. That's when the two sides have to exchange the evidence that they have. So I would think that these cases would need to be filed by the 30th, and I would also think that you could always add on new trials and new accusers later, but I would think that by June 30th we should have a full picture of the landscape.
And we could have, if there's going to be a settlement, you'd think it might happen before then.
Perhaps,
right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that one couldn't happen after that, but you're right, yeah. Before we get to that road,
why go have to do all that if you're going to settle. If you're in settlement talk, so it's a possible deadline.
By the way, the last thing I wanted to make before I open it up to your guys' thoughts and comments on this is that I don't think it's by accident that we had said yesterday, it's been a minute since we've had any new developments in the case. Well, here we are as training camp, as minicamp opens on the eve of it. You get these 25 and 26. Both start with your thoughts.
The first thing that comes to me, guys, is, and it's kind of been this way, but just as every bit of more news, and I don't know that it changes anything, but this is really depressing. It really is, right? There's no good side. First of all, every time one of these situations happens, whether it's the Browns, whether it's another team, whether it's a politician or an actor, everybody chooses sides, right? That's the first thing. We all get in our camps. We say the other people are idiots and schmucks and the other people are apologists and whatever. That's depressing enough. But the topic, so either Deshaun did all this, and that's pretty awful, or this is one grand conspiracy to steamroll him, and that's pretty awful, or the most likely scenario in my mind, it's somewhere in between, and it's just a lot of bad behavior all around. It sucks for the fans. It sucks for Watson. It sucks for these women. None of this is good.
You're right.
And it sucks for us selfishly, not that anybody cares, but because, honestly,
we don't love talking about it.
We don't want to talk about this, but we got to talk about it because it's news and it involves the Browns quarterback.
Right.
Listening to sports guys talk about this, especially on the radio, is brutal too, because they have to spend the first 10 minutes talking about how they don't want to talk about it and how terrible it is. And they really don't. They just want, they did not get into this, and they did not get into. They didn't get into this. They didn't get into this to talk about the law. They don't want to do the research, and I don't blame them. That's not why they got into this. But all of a sudden they're like, okay, please stop yelling at us, but we have to talk about this because it's the most important thing going on in sports right now. And it is hard to listen to them. 25 and 26 isn't great. I do want to remind everybody that we have a tendency to want to find people to blame for this and to get mad at something like, why is this happening? Stop it from happening. Make them stop. And so we're trying to come up with these solutions, none of which are great solutions. We're mad at the women for making the accusations, they just want money. We're mad at Deshaun. We're mad at the media. We're mad at these lawyers. We're mad at the NFL because they haven't told us yet what they're going to do to Deshaun, even though these things are still coming out. Right. Because we're like, how are we supposed to get ready in minicamp if we don't know, and all of this is what the Browns signed up for. That's the bottom line.
That's true.
As soon as they made a deal with somebody who you knew had this history, this is exactly what they signed up for. It's adorable that we thought it was just going to be over very quickly. And apparently when they said that they did their due diligence, what that was they sent an email to the 22 women that just said, did anything creepy happen? Check a box. If not, don't send anything back. No one sent anything back, and they said, I think we're clear. And now we're here.
We don't even know if they did that.
Yeah, I know.
We don't know that there was any reach out because we know they didn't talk to any of them, which was stunning to most when they found out.
Not ideal.
G. Bush, you're taking it all in. You're nodding your head.
Yeah.
Where are you going with this?
At this point, I'm looking at it like this. 24, 25, 26, if I know that that's what the strategy is going to be, we all knew that was the strategy. Everybody who speaks about this knows it's the strategy. So when it happens, you shouldn't be moved by it, right? You shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, what this is just every single day. Of course it's going to be every single day. That's the goal. He's getting the goal of what you want. And this is like a news flash for a lot of people. And it's hard to say this, man. The Browns and Jimmy and D Haslam, they're not really moved by this. People think that the public outcry is something that moves owners and moves people. No, it doesn't, right? When you are that rich and you have that much money, and think about it, they was in Europe when he did his first press conference.
That's right.
Does that seem like somebody that's pressed that's going to care about?
Or maybe they wanted to distance themselves from it as far as they could.
Or they just said,
they still did a press conference.
No, I know, but they didn't sit next to him. No. And I thought the optics of that weren't great for them.
No.
So I always looked at it like this, and I looked at it from a point of and I know people don't like politics, but this is a good politics one, right? Sometimes you can be so mad and outraged at some things that politicians do, but then it all comes back to, well, what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. Wait, what are you going to do? You're going to jump up and down? If they ignore you, what are you going to do about it, right? The NFL knows at the end of the day, that this thing is a cash cow. It is too big. The train is left the tracks. Nothing that happens and they got numbers to prove it. They keep getting contracts. It doesn't. You might be mad at me for a couple weeks. You might be mad at me for a couple years. But they just.
And that's why sorry to cut you off. But you're 100% right. That's why the Browns made this trade, because they know that unless Deshaun Watson goes to jail, he's eventually going to be allowed to play. And 99% of the fans will still watch the games, and they're not going to lose. They're not going to lose significant amounts of people, because we've seen it time and time again when other guys have gotten into trouble. Now the numbers of how many cases may be higher, but ultimately, if you're not going to stop watching football because of Joe Mixon or Greg Hardy or all these other guys, or Kareem Hunt or Ray Rice, if you're not going to stop watching football because of those, you're not going to stop watching football because of this. There may be a few stragglers, but ultimately, G is 100% right.
Ratings always go up.
In the moment, this sucks. It's miserable for all of us. We're angry. We're passionate. We're wherever we are. But eventually, there will be some sort of settlement, whether the case goes to trial or it will actually be settled.
Yeah, there will be resolution
at some point, and from there, it'll then become just about football, and the rest will be noise.
And I'll add this. Back in the day when we talked about the Romans and we talked about the gladiators, back then people's lives were terrible. We talked about poverty. You talk about diseases. You talk about high crime rates. And the Romans were smart. You know what they said? They said, give them gladiators. It is something that will keep them detached from reality and what's going on in their real life. And as long as you give them what happens in that gladiator school, that gladiator arena, people will tune out and people will get locked right back in.
Maybe my plague isn't so bad after all.
Right. You know? He's right, though.
No, well,
That's true.
Look, the NFL owns a day of the week, and it is, for a lot of people, it is that distraction from whatever whether you're going to the 9 to 5 and you're, stamping fenders 5 days a week. It is that sort of respite from all of that where we turn on the television and we watch grown men knock into each other at high speed. And if our team wins, we feel great. We feel better about our plight, whatever that is. To your point, G. Bush, I think, and it's sad when you say it, it's kind of, it is a little jarring, but I think you're absolutely right. And Mike, I think you're right. I think the Haslams in the front office did the mental math on this, and they knew that this was not going to be a pretty road. Maybe when they say they did their due diligence, maybe what they found was, we believe strongly that there was no criminal behavior.
That's it.
And that was their line, their threshold. We don't want to go into the criminal endeavor, but if this is a guy who did some creepy things to some women in massages and he's not going to go to jail, he can write a big check. We're going to make it easier for him to do that. And all of this is going to go away. So I think that they probably did feel comfortable that there wasn't rape, there wasn't any criminal wrongdoing in their minds.
Right.
So let's play the civil trials out and take whatever the NFL gives us and then put it behind us, to your point, G. Bush, and the train always goes forward.
It's not a coincidence that the second there were no charges, brought up from the
you're right.
No indictments.
The indictments were clear.
As soon as the indictments were clear,
this talk
there's a reason
got hot.
Every team all of a sudden said, it's not because they all believed he was completely innocent.
Right.
Maybe they do, but I don't buy that. How would you know?
They wanted to see what was going to happen.
All they cared about was he going to go to jail? And once they knew he wasn't going to go to jail, or thought they knew it, you never know what's going to happen in the future. But at that point, it seemed like, okay, he's not going to jail. He's a great football. It's back to, once that's off the table, it's all about how good a football player is he, because we know he's going to play. Even if he's suspended for a whole year, we know he's going to play eventually, and it's worth the bad PR for a while.
Just really quickly, building off of your ancient Rome analogy, do you think that there was one really controversial gladiator back then, named like Dominus Maximus, where they were just like, I just can't support him. I heard he practices black magic, and that's personally, I can't.
That's my line.
If you want to support him, I understand, but I can't support Dominus.
It's so crazy. Actually, back then, the worse you were as a person, the more people liked you.
Oh, exactly.
It was like the forbidden guy.
Heard he's in league with the devil. Woo! That's my dog.
I mean, that guy had me talking
Everybody's got to be the heel. Someone's got to be the heel.
Yeah. Somebody has to, right?
Yeah. Well, where this goes from here, we don't know.
Yeah.
What the timeline is on this, we don't know. But we know that we're still living in it. So here it is.
By the way, on the other side of this, we got some quotes from Rusty Harden and Deshaun Watson. an Instagram post that he put out last week. Can we see those?
Oh, yeah, the Instagram.
Because I want to see.
It was a song lyric, right?
Here's the quote first, then we'll get to the Instagram lyric next.
Every time I see that picture, I'm creeped out, by the way.
So weird.
It's so
it looks like a Donald Trump Halloween costume.
By the way, I'll tell you, this is the one that he had.
If you saw that Spirit Halloween, it would say Executive President because they can't use his name.
This is the picture he used on buses in Houston like 25 years ago.
He
doesn't look like that today.
Yeah,
so he's like going
he looks like 25 years more of bad road today.
Yeah,
Crypt Keeper.
It's way worse.
Now, this was after the 23rd and 24th, not the 25th and 26th.
Right.
But I'm sure his
has
quote
not
would be the same thing.
commented on the 25th and 26th
You know,
allegations yet.
The
These
one
are from
thing,
23, 24.
The one thing I remember about 24 was, I know this was after the number had gone to 24, but he specifically said after number 24, got nothing for you on this. This is a pop quiz to us.
Yeah.
We didn't know about this woman. And that was somewhat of a surprise.
Yeah.
Put the Instagram post up from Deshaun. I think this was last week.
Yeah.
And G. Bush, you're gonna translate this for us.
See, the blogs can't break me. Oh, that's a down right there. So the blogs can't break me down. See, I'm the voice. I don't reply. But the rumors y'all done heard, I'm humbly denied. Yeah. Who said that?
That's a little dark.
That's and
Poet laureate.
We've seen athletes do this before.
Yeah.
When they want to say something without saying it in their words, they'll often go to a lyric that maybe says exactly what it is they want to say. What is he trying to say with that?
Well, I think what he's trying to say, I'm going to decode that is, you talked about June 30th discovery, right?
Yeah.
I think Deshaun Watson desperately wants discovery, right? Because one of the things that we haven't heard is from him, his perspective on what's happening. When you do get discovery, what happens is you have to then look and say, well, wow, I didn't know this woman was telling people she wanted to sue him just for money. And so you got a transcript saying that. Wow, I didn't know she said 30,000 wasn't enough. I need this more. So you'll start to hear some of the things where it's kind of alarming. Like his stuff came out first, right? And so when you get the sexually explicit, details of it, that shock factor hits you tough. But I think for him, he desperately wants his discovery because then there's always two sides to the story. And one of the things that'll happen is both sides are trying to discredit each other in a civil case. So he's going to have some stuff that's going to try to discredit what they're saying or make them look a little salacious and make them look like they're out to just get them. And I think it's like, say, for instance, you're getting punched in the face, right? And you're getting punched in the face over and over again, right? But you can't hit anybody back. You just got to get punched in the face. And, you at some point, you just want to be like, no, I want to fight. And I want to say things. And it's not a good look if you fight because you're never – and here's another. You're never going to win as a man talking bad about a woman. It just doesn't look right overall in general. It comes off. It makes you look crazy. So I think he's biting.
Except Johnny Depp. Just a reminder. Just Johnny Depp.
Well, he came in with the gloves off. To that point, I keep wondering because we know that Rusty Hardin is this legendary attorney. He famously defended Roger Clemens in the HGH stuff. And I just keep looking at what we're seeing because last week he came out and opened the Pandora's box of, well, he never paid for sex.
Right.
Which was like this oddball comment number 700. But I just keep looking at this saying, Rusty is an experienced guy and his hourly rate is not cheap. There's got to be something more to this that we don't know. And he has said a number of times, we look forward to defending these allegations in court. So, G. Bush, to your point, maybe he is sticking his neck out saying, just keep hitting me. But when the bell goes off and I'm allowed to fight back, I'm taking the gloves off and I am going to fight back because that's when he can start to address these individual charges with specific responses to these specific allegations. And you're right about some of the discovery that we're going to see is not going to be flattering to some of the women. We already know that. So if Rusty is playing the game where the one who speaks last has the loudest message, then maybe he is playing this smartly. And
maybe
once he throws his stuff out there, we all might say, wow, he stood in the corner and took it for months. But now we see more to the picture and we change our minds.
I think in the end, it's going to in a civil case, it's not a jury trial, right? Or is it? I don't even know.
I think it can be either, but I think this one is going to be a jury. I think it's up to the defendant to decide.
If you had your gavel in your hand right now,
I know
the
it's going to be hard ultimately for 12 people to be convinced that Deshaun Watson is completely innocent and this is made up when it's 26 accusations.
Well, you have to
Fair
also,
or not.
but you also have to find if it is a jury trial.
Right.
We don't know. We're not law experts. If someone's watching us and they know for certain, let us know. But you also have to get the jury to be convinced that, on both ways.
I would love to have a lawyer or attorney come on and say how they would go about picking the jury.
At some point we need to do that. Like We've talked about it.
How do they pick those guys?
I hope it doesn't come to any of this because I hope it settles this.
Yeah, I know. We want to talk touchdowns, not
exactly.
Courtroom procedure.
All right,
let's talk about Baker Mayfield very quickly here. And I want to do this too. Robyn Lochner, who is with the Browns women's group that Mike talked about last week, is in the studio. She's going to join us coming up in the second hour of the program. And we want her thoughts. We want a woman's perspective on a topic that men have been talking about ad nauseum.
Well, not just a woman's perspective, but a Browns fan specifically.
A Browns fan, but also we do want,
No, but a female Browns fan.
We keep having men up here talking about this, and it doesn't feel like there's representation on the other side. So we're going to do that later in the show. Also, next, let's turn to Baker Mayfield, because there have been a couple of reports recently, within the last couple of days, that all of a sudden there's this new heightened sense of urgency for the Browns and the Panthers to get a deal done. And the one that was floated out there by a media member was, why don't they just change quarterbacks? Darnold to the Browns, Baker to the Panthers, similar salary swap, just get it done. Maybe the Browns get a draft pick thrown in there. Just to make it a little more worth their while. It looks like that the Browns are going to end up paying all of the $18.8 million of Baker's salary. But the reason we're doing this now is because the most recent report that we saw yesterday said that there's urgency on the Panthers' part because, as you can see here, they want to get Baker in there in time for minicamp. Well, guys, the Panthers' minicamp, like the Browns, starts today. It ends Thursday. So perhaps this could be a red flag that something could be coming in the next day.
Here's my advice. Why don't you, Carolina, you want that? Go ahead and cough up. If that's really a concern right now, this is exactly the opportunity we're waiting for, is somebody actually wanting something in exchange. And if that's probably just going to be the first one of those two, I think, that we see. Somebody's going to get hurt. Something's going to happen where he's going to have more value. Right now, we have nothing to lose by sitting on this guy, and I don't. Unless we get something back, I just don't see any point. I just don't. Other than everyone saying it's just get the headache out of here, get it out of the locker room. I think the people.
He's not in the locker room.
He's not in there. He's fine. Just let him sit there until somebody wants.
The reporter's Jonathan Jones. He just got promoted to insider at CBS Sports. He's new to the insider game. I mean,
nonsense.
Well, I watched his report last week that we talked about.
I'm not taking a shot at him.
No, he just doesn't have a long track record that we can say this is a legit.
What's the guy's name?
Jonathan Jones, I think it is.
No Jones bombs yet?
Yeah, not yet.
Let me make it clear. I'm not saying he's making anything up.
No.
I'm just saying I'm a little skeptical about this because. First of all, the timeline doesn't make sense. Like, why? If there was going to be an urgency to get him in for minicamp or for mandatory
this
minicamp,
is minicamp.
Wouldn't that urgency have happened last week so he'd be here? For
Yeah, you would think. I agree with that.
And I just don't get. Again, I understand Baker's a decent quarterback. I get it. We can debate how good he is in the pantheon, but nobody's really going to argue that he's an elite quarterback or a top 10 guy. I don't know that. I just can't picture any of these teams being desperate to get Baker.
You know who I'm surprised we haven't heard more from is the Lions. I thought we
they're
would
paying Jared Goff a lot of money.
Yeah.
Could have done a Goff swap.
That's the problem. Ultimately, I think there are a handful of teams that would like to have Baker. I don't think there's any team that is desperate for Baker. Otherwise, he would be there.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
And I know earlier I had said just release him, just be done with it because the drama. But I'm easily swayed. and I've completely changed my mind on this. Bull and mostly Bull, but Mike too. You've worn me down.
Yeah.
And here's I think here's the bet that the Browns are making.
Yeah.
And it's a great bet to make. A few quarterbacks are going to be hurt by week 5. Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't that always the case?
Right.
I mean, for once we're
not training camp.
Yeah, likely one will go down in training camp. We've seen it a million times.
Right.
But even if it doesn't happen in training camp, there will be a frontline quarterback that goes down in the first 4 weeks of the season. And I think that's what the Browns are waiting on. They're just saying, hey, look, we're going to have to pay a lot of this money. What if God forbid in Green Bay, but what if Aaron Rodgers went down? Or what if one of these big-name guys that is the team's relying on him to take them to the next level? You've got to have a guy that's proven, that's been a starter in the league. You don't want to go to a rookie that's been sitting on the bench for 3 years with no experience. So that's when Baker's price tag would go up. So I guess play the waiting game here.
I still think they could trade him soon. I don't think they're going to get that picky. I mean, ultimately, they're not going to get a huge haul, even if a quarterback got hurt. Nobody's trading the first-round pick for him.
And look, if they could offset $4 million of the salary, the Browns would love that at this point.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think it's about a draft pick, really. I just think about who's willing to eat a certain amount of money.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is one of those things. Read a book back in the day called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right?
Yep.
This is a case where you save your money, right? You got your money that you can use. You put it aside. You don't spend it every weekend, living paycheck to paycheck, right? Mm-hmm. You keep that money so that when things come about, you might see a car that, wow, that's a good going to work car.
Or a rainy day.
Or a rainy day. Or, hey, what the heck? My kid decided he wanted to go to master. He wanted to get his master's, right? Or there's a house, piece of land over there that appreciate. The reason you got that money is so you don't got to be desperate. And so the Browns, you give them credit. They've been financially solvent. They haven't really done too much crazy things with their money. And now they can say, well, we'll just sit them. We got the $18 million. We got that covered. Yeah. No big deal. And then you can capitalize on somebody else's desperation. Somebody that thought they were going to contend.
That's true.
Quarterback hurt.
Well, they can do that because they're paying Deshaun $1 million this year. So the two quarterbacks combined are $19 million. If you tell me you can get Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson for a total haul of $19 million, sign any team in the league up for that.
Josh Dobbs is making at least $80 an hour.
Shut up, bro. This proves the salary cap is fictitious.
More than most teachers are making.
You can do all that maneuvering, right?
And the flexibility I think the flexibility is there because the way they structured the contract. Now, I also think the way they structured the contract has probably pissed some people off on Park Avenue because I would imagine that Goodell and the troops up there are saying, so wait a minute, if we dink him for the whole year, it costs him $1 million. That's it. And that's why.
Why do they care, though? And screw the other team. And by the way, everybody that's worked up on everybody's worried. Oh, the other teams are angry. Who gives a rat's you know what about the other? Listen, this is good for the Browns that the Ravens and Bengals will have a harder time paying their quarterbacks.
Thank you.
The Bengals have no money.
Yeah, but they're changing this game moving forward forever for all teams.
Who cares?
That's what's happening.
Who cares?
Well, the Browns have to, and the Browns have to live in that universe too.
The Bengals might not be able to pay Joe Burrow. You have to have a certain amount of that money on hand to sign that contract.
The
Bengals don't have the money to direct
Bengals poor. You know them boys. The Bengals poor. They ain't got no money.
Yeah, well, once Brown sees that ass, he's like, well, good luck in Miami.
The Bengals are the Dolans of football.
All right. McNuggets is killing me.
Let's go.
We got to go.
I'm excited about this.
This is a great topic. This is your idea?
I found it on Twitter. I can't be the original.
Why would you lie? Why would you admit that?
Just lie.
Well, he's too honest to lie. Look at this. Look at that face. He's not going to lie. And I'm glad he does it.
Pie-faced goon.
But there's all good ideas come from Twitter. Isn't that a fact?
Yeah, well, listen, it's the middle of summer. We're trying to find content to fill, and this was a great
Right. So
topic,
explain it. I'll let you explain it.
A very timely topic, too. So
you stole the idea. You explained it.
It's not finding stuff to fill. This is quality stuff. Don't downplay what we're doing.
Great
here.
entertainment.
Let's go. Bring it in.
No, listen, I love it. I like the idea. It's a good idea.
Stop
so
farting around and
camp,
let's start it off.
mini camp, starting today.
Farting around. Sorry. I just was not familiar with that term.
I've never heard that either.
All right.
I'm going to use it now, though.
Must be a Jewish guy from Brooklyn thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
So, back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
It is time for some training camp superlatives.
Yeah.
We looked at the Browns roster. We made 7 topics or categories. And almost like a game show, we're going to introduce a category. We got your answers. And for the most part, they were all very different.
Okay.
So, without further ado, this is your 2022 Browns minicamp superlatives.
All right.
And we'll start with the most underrated player on the roster.
There you go.
You and me.
Different answers. Defend yourself.
You want to start, Bull?
Well, Mike and I both had Joel Bitonio.
Right. I don't think he's underrated at all.
This was a tough one for me because I don't really feel there's anybody on this team that's overly underrated.
He's a Pro Bowler.
Here, we don't talk about him, and
He's a lineman.
People don't. I know nobody celebrates him that much, and he's the key to everything in this offense as far as
no doubt. And here's why I think he's underrated. Because people have gotten hot and bothered about Wyatt Teller the last couple of years. Yeah. Wyatt Teller is a very good guard.
Yeah.
Joel Bitonio is probably the second best guard in football behind what's his name in Indianapolis.
Well, he makes everybody on the line better because he can do his job and then some.
He is great, and he's better than Teller, and I feel like Teller gets more hype.
I talked to I actually rewind the tape. I talked to Joe Thomas. I said this guy could be a Hall of Famer.
We're not just you.
Yeah, but
nobody was like, who doesn't G. Bush appreciate enough?
Yeah,
we're talking about overall.
I'm talking about nationally.
Nationally, he's voted to the Pro Bowl every year.
I know, that's my players because they know. But the outside,
and you know more about sports than most people. But like, I'll bet you a lot of Browns fans probably don't even know Joel.
Why?
Gosh,
again,
I hope not.
The other guard on this team gets more hype, even though he's not a better player.
He's the reason that people say the Browns have the best offensive line. Him solely.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, yeah, no, that's
fine. Who did you guys pick?
All right, let's see.
I have. Go ahead, put it back up there. This was the most underrated.
Why
right?
do you think JOK is not underrated?
I think JOK is underrated nationally, in particular.
No,
but
I think you guys both made terrible picks.
Well, we think yours is terrible. So
first of all, Kareem Hunt.
That's what makes us fun, you guys.
Kareem Hunt's not underrated.
Yes, he is.
He's a star. Everybody knows he's a star.
Listen, they had Najee Harris over Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt
That's
is better.
That's one dopey list.
I'm just saying.
That guy's an idiot. Ignore him.
People don't understand that Kareem Hunt is probably a top 5 running back in the league and can start for basically everybody the Titans.
Well, before he came to Cleveland, he was considered to be the best back in the NFL.
He's not playing as much, so he's not going to get the same hype.
So you don't get a chance to see him. You don't get a chance to. He don't get touches like that.
Yeah.
He's underrated to his own coach. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, you're right. He might be
only played like 12 games in the NFL. He can't be underrated when he's only played 12 games.
But what do you think he's going to be?
I love him. I think he's a really good player, but I think he was appropriately talked about.
Your guy went to the Pro Bowl.
You guys want to?
And you're saying he's underrated.
Here's why.
According to us, we all made crappy picks.
My guy's under the radar nationally.
Yeah.
This year, that dude's going to tear it up. I'm telling you, JOK is going to be on the front of everybody's mind.
Who got it right
Let us know in the comment section.
The problem is people are buying in Cleveland.
Who won that?
People know Bitonio. Outside of Cleveland, nobody knows who the hell he is.
Here's why I'm so bad at these roundtable argument shows. I'm like, I think those were all great picks, you guys.
Yeah, I think. All right,
well, hold on. Speaking of great picks,
because you're so polite.
Not only defend his next one. Our next superlative, the most overrated player on the team, and let Polk. Let's start with you.
All right, listen, Charlie Hughlett, long snapper. First of all, you son of a bee, we signed you to a 6-year extension in 2017. A 6-year extension for a long snapper.
Good long snappers are hard to find.
No, are they though?
Do you even know if he's good? Do you have any clue?
We have no clue if
I do. You know why? He's been in the league like 50 years.
So he was at the time the highest paid long snapper in the league. Did he earn it?
Yeah.
Who knows?
By the way, if you want to
snappers should get paid the same.
By the way,
by the hour.
If you want to know how important a long snapper is, go to any college camp anywhere.
Yeah.
And if you can long snap, you automatically get a scholarship.
Right. By the way, shout out to my man Peter Schwartz, who was a guy I worked with in New York for many years. He wrote an article about me recently for Barrett Sports Media.
Right.
But
we'll put the link up.
Yeah. The link is in the description.
I didn't really bring it up for that reason, but his son, who's a senior in high school, is going to go to college, and his niche is being a long snapper.
That's perfect. That's what I would have my kid doing. Never get hurt.
It's a good niche.
You get it back there and you long snap and you punt.
Do you remember?
So we never have to worry about you getting hurt.
Do you remember when Pete Carroll at USC had the blind kid on the team?
Yes.
Where'd they put him? He was a long snapper.
Oh, I thought he was the quarterback for the Browns.
What's that tell you, though?
Stop it.
What does that tell you, though, that you can do it blind? How insulting is that if you're a long snapper? Like, you got a blind kid doing it.
The blind guy's as good as
and
you.
And he's fine.
Just so you know. I like your logic. I like your logic on that.
Petty LeBoy strikes again.
Why do we have the highest paid long snapper?
You and I had the same guy.
Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead and explain.
Well, listen,
Jedrick Wills, highly overrated.
Jedrick Wills, if we talk about why the Browns' offensive line is known as the best in the game, is because of their two guards. Obviously, Bitonio and Wyatt Teller. Now, Conklin is even more of a known commodity than he's made a Pro Bowl. Yeah. And Jedrick Wills is a top 10 pick. At this point, he's a steak eater. He's coming along for the ride in terms of that. And if you talk about Nick Harris, Nick Harris is on the same boat as him. But I put Wyatt. The only reason I put Nick Harris over Jedrick Wills is because Jedrick Wills from Alabama. He's supposed to be a left tackle. He played decent his first year. Go look at them Pro Football Focus numbers. That second year, it was not it. And I know he was hurt. But
he was average as a rookie. He was below average as a second-year guy. He did deal with an injury, but again, we don't make excuses for injuries.
Not just an injury. But when you're an offensive lineman and you've got a dinged ankle,
it's over.
It's a wrap. You might as well not even be out there because
offensive linemen play with injuries all the time.
I know, but G. Bush, what kind of an injury do you least want to have if you're an offensive or defensive lineman? A lower extremity.
If you get a high ankle sprain, I had a high ankle sprain one year, and I was just like, y'all might as well shut me down. I'm out here. My speed is a 60 on Madden. Get me up out of here, bro. Jedrick Wills got hurt the first game of the year. He got to play a little bit better.
Who was your guy?
Okay, so I'm Wills. I think that he is. I do think the injury had a lot to do with his Pro Football Focus grade last year. I think he's going to be better this year. I just think he hasn't lived up to his hype.
Yes.
But I hate to say that he's overrated. My guy, I'm surprised nobody else said this, guys. This was the one I was most certain of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
who was
David Njoku.
Yeah.
Well, he was certainly on my list, but I picked him for something else. So I didn't want to pick the same guy for two things.
He was on the radar.
He's the third highest paid tight end in football.
Yeah, it's absurd.
His production wasn't even, for the last 5 years, he's not even in the top half.
He was on the radar.
I totally agree. I just knew somebody else to take him.
You know why I didn't pick him also? Is because I only think he's overrated by the Browns. I don't think he's overrated by anybody else.
You're right. Yeah, but that's the one where it counts the most because they write the check.
Yeah, that's true.
That dude's just got guaranteed $56 million for 4 years.
Well, no, half is guaranteed, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you know what? I think after 2 years, he's out.
Well, hopefully he plays well enough that we're wrong.
I hope they see something.
I'm interested in seeing this next one.
Yeah.
What's our next one?
The next one.
Let me see.
The best overall player on the Browns, and we have 3 different selections here.
Yeah, this one was tough, man. This one was really tough. Bull and I are going with Nick Chubb.
Chubb is the best player.
How does anybody get mad? I had both of those other people I considered, and it was one of these 3.
Yeah.
Well, I think to be the best player on the Browns, you actually have to be on the Browns.
Like, you have to
and
play.
until Deshaun Watson takes a snap in the real game, he's not on the Browns, in my mind.
Listen, obviously a quarterback is more important than a running back. A pass rusher is more important. However, I look at this as who is the best player at their position, essentially. That's how I look at it. And I believe that it's close, but Nick Chubb is a better running back than Watson is a quarterback or that Myles Garrett is a pass rusher.
And
it's close because they're all really good.
I think you could argue that for any of them.
I say Deshaun Watson is the best because if you look at it, you just mentioned it, it's the most important position. And if Deshaun Watson, if Nick Chubb doesn't play anymore, the Browns can still have a 1,000-yard running back. If Deshaun Watson don't play, the Browns are not. They're going to be drafting in the top 10.
Yeah. So if you came at it that way, I agree with what you're saying there. I reverse engineered it though and got my answer. I said if someone handed me an envelope and said there's a player's name on this paper that just got hurt and he's out for the season, I started thinking, who's the guy that I don't want that? Whose name do I not want to see? Mm-hmm. In my mind, Watson might be that guy already.
Right.
And so I think the guy that I would be most terrified if we lost him for the year would be.
Yeah, but who steps up when Nick Chubb goes down?
Well,
as
Kareem
opposed
Hunt.
to when Myles Garrett goes down.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I would have said Myles Garrett.
We don't even have Porter Gustin anymore.
Yeah,
but I looked at it as if I'm ranking.
Good reference.
And by the way, this is an advantage for Watson over Chubb and Garrett because I looked at it as if I'm ranking all the players in the NFL at their position, who do I get to first? And even though it's easier because there's less quarterbacks to play versus running backs and defensive linemen, Nick Chubb's higher on my running back list.
He is on mine
Watson
too.
is
I
on
think
my
there are guys that play Garrett's position that are just better.
Yeah, I mean,
I know we have to go, but here I just want to point something out. In most years, this would be hard for a different reason.
Right.
We don't really have anybody.
It's a good sign.
So this is a good sign that we've got different players, and nobody makes a bad argument.
Yeah. Right. No, these are all good arguments.
I like our depth.
No, that is good.
Okay.
They have
Mike,
3 elite
what's next?
I'll be the tiebreaker. Myles Garrett's the best player on the team. But
hey, McNuggets, we'll give you that.
By the way, Mike is wrong, but
still a tie.
By the way,
it's not a tie anyhow. There were 2 guys that said
true.
1 player,
and Bitonio could be on that list too. By the way.
I hold the most power here as the behind-the-booth person who punches your names in videos, so my vote counts as 2.
He is the man behind the curtain.
Myles Garrett
He's the Wizard of Oz.
The best player. All right, let's get to the next one, though. This is an interesting topic.
Yes.
I thought you'd all go Watson for the biggest offseason addition, but G. Bush and Jay went in a different direction. You guys care to explain?
Wait a second. What I can't understand is that G. Bush has spent the last 5 minutes arguing that Deshaun Watson's the best player on the Browns, but he's not the biggest offseason addition.
And he's not even an addition.
But watch this, because he's not going to have an immediate impact like Jadeveon Clowney will.
I'd say he's had an immediate impact already.
But wait, I don't think
Clowney counts as a.
How is Clowney an addition?
Well, he was a free agent. They resigned him.
All right.
But we had him. He's never been on another team between last year and now.
Technically, the graphic goes from Browns to NFL Shield, free agency, and then back to Browns because they signed him.
There wasn't another team in between us. To be an addition, it's got to be someone that we didn't have last year.
I feel like we're really getting hung up on minutia here.
Who did you say?
Oh, I said Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who did you pick?
The guy who's turned this city upside down?
Yeah, I went with Amari Cooper. And the reason I went with Cooper is because, first of all, I think there have been two notable additions. I think Watson and Cooper. But Watson, as I said, until he takes a snap for the Browns, he's not a member of the Browns, in my view. And he may sit out for half a year or a year. Cooper, unless there's an injury, is going to play the whole season. And I'm telling you guys, I'm in the minority here with my national media friends because I keep, and they're calling me a homer, but this guy's going to be the comeback player of the year this year in the NFL. I think that his situation in Dallas had eroded to the point where it had a lot to do with his decline in production. I just think if Deshaun Watson is throwing the football and you've got Chubb and Hunt healthy, he's going to be the biggest benefactor.
Yeah, but Jacoby Brissett's throwing the football. He's not going to.
Well, that's a different story.
I tell them, listen, here's what we're not going to do. When we're going to get rid of that old Stefanski, Baker, spread it around type joint. I need Amari Cooper to be having 10 to 12. He needs 10 to 12 targets. He's the number, don't be throwing it to fullbacks. Don't be throwing it to Harrison Bryant. Amari, you should be telling us, Amari Cooper is tired of running routes because they keep targeting him. Yes, we will. And he's our best receiver. If it's 3rd and 5, I don't want to see Anthony Schwartz getting slants. I need Amari Cooper immediately.
I'm with you. I think he's going to have a huge year.
All right, what's next?
What's next?
Next one, 4 different answers for this one.
Time.
The superlative is, who could surprise the most this training camp?
All right.
You want to start, Bull?
I don't even remember who I wrote. Oh, David Bell, right?
Yes, Bull.
You said yesterday he's going to have a big year.
Yeah. I'm very high on David Bell, the rookie wide receiver. You talk about getting Amari Cooper the ball a million times. Well, there does have to be other guys to throw to. Right? And I'm not high on David Njoku like others are. I do think Kareem Hunt's going to get a lot of plays. But I'm looking for I was listening to this fantasy football radio show, and they were talking about how David Bell is, his measurables are not that impressive. And every time these two nitwits talk about a guy whose measurables are not impressive, that guy ends up being a good player. These guys are the reverse jinx, the show I listen to. David Bell reminds me, I think he's going to trend the T. Higgins route. Like T. Higgins came out of college, and people were like, yeah, but he's not this, and he does this. You know what he does? Catches every freaking ball that comes his way.
No, he does, yeah.
Catches every ball. He may not be the fastest guy, may not be the biggest guy, may have all these his 40 time is not impressive. He's not blowing you away with the speed, but he's going to catch the ball.
Nice. He did at Purdue. He lit Ohio State up. And Ohio State has NFL caliber defensive backs.
I hate to be cliche, but he's a football player. You know what I mean?
He's going to get chances too, isn't he?
Yes.
He will.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Mike, I have a bigger chance that Bull not only listens to a fantasy football show hosted by guys that he doesn't respect, but then he admits it on the show.
Sure.
What else do you do
all
with
have
your free time?
I used to listen because I was like, these guys are experts, right? I'll trust them. And I'm like, these guys are idiots. They don't know any more than I know. I know more. These guys, no wonder they're probably not getting paid anything. That is so
Mike,
hard.
Who's your player?
Really blowing up that fantasy football podcast.
Who's your surprise?
I went with Jacob Phillips, and he's had a couple of.
That is a good one.
He's been injured the last couple of years. We got him we drafted him 2020, I think, maybe,
yes.
And then he played 2020, and he was dinged up. But everybody's all excited about him, and I see he's been getting a lot. He's getting some more time in camp.
I like that one.
He might surprise us, and I hope so. That'd be a nice fill in there.
Yeah.
This is the easiest one of all. This is a definite guaranteed dub. This is a win. Grant Delpit.
It's a good one.
Grant Delpit is gonna have a Pro Bowl season. I'm going to let you know right now.
Is he going to be healthy?
That's the thing. That's his knock. If he stays healthy, that's why it's a surprise to a lot of people. But when you look at Grant Delpit and you go back and look at his junior tape at LSU, Grant Delpit was one of the best players in the country. You come out, you get him in the second round. He had an injury his senior year. That's why he slid to the second round. Then he has the Achilles heel injury. But when you go look at it, this is the key to the defense this year. When you see Grant Delpit flying up at the line of scrimmage, he's a dynamic blitzer. He can play in space. Listen, when he's shooting at ball carriers, I mean, it looked like he just shot out of a rocket.
Finished the year strong, too.
Finished the year strong, getting more healthy. Yep. I think Grant Delpit is up for a Pro Bowl year, and especially because you got two guys like Myles Garrett that are going to be helping people throw football fast.
It's a good choice. I actually he was like my second choice for this and my second choice for player with the most to prove.
Yeah,
I didn't pick him for either, but I thought about him for both.
But he could slide into either one.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. Okay, on this one, who's the guy from Michigan that came over? He was my second pick.
Winovich.
He was with the Winovich.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think Winovich is kind of an odd guy.
Hadn't even thought about it.
The Patriots, he had some great success 2 years ago with the Patriots, and then for some reason,
he got in a bad mood or something.
He got into Bill Belichick's doghouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I think that's how you explain his drastic drop in production. But I think Winovich has the potential to be this guy, but that's not who I went with.
Okay.
I went with Nick Harris because I think for the Browns to make the move that they made with Treader, they know what they get, what they're getting here. They see him in practice every day. When he played, I don't think he was ever awful. I mean, did he miss blocks? Yeah, he did. But I think they must really be impressed with his potential upside. So I'm looking at him to be a surprise guy.
I think they're all good choices.
I'd love to see all of those guys
Again,
do really
isn't this a good problem to have?
That was a good. I think everybody made good choices.
Okay.
Real quick side note, Chase Winovich allowed the fans to pick his number.
Oh, this is the best story.
And
that's higher than gets us meter.
And they selected number 69.
Yes, they
so
will
now
certainly
Chase
do.
We have
Winovich,
video.
I love our fans.
going by 69, and that is only because you can't fit 420 onto a jersey. So, but congrats, Chase.
Otherwise, we would have selected.
Yes, we definitely would have.
And he's got the flow too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the
it.
locks coming out of the helmet. Okay, what's next?
We have two more categories. We got to fly through these to make sure we get everything in.
Okay.
This is which player will take the biggest leap. We have
I
four
went with
different answers.
Nick
We
Harris.
talked about some of these guys already. So Jay, let's talk about Anthony Schwartz.
Yeah,
first.
Anthony Schwartz is a guy that obviously he's the world-class burner. He's got all this great speed. I just didn't see enough production from him last year that he's justified the draft pick. And the one thing I know about front offices and head coaches, they will sometimes work overtime to make the fans think that they made the right selection. And right now, everybody's looking at the Schwartz draft pick saying,
a good point.
wait a minute, this did. So I think there's going to be a concerted effort this year to get him involved, to take the top off defenses.
Yeah.
And with Deshaun Watson, I think you've got the threat, the kind of quarterback that could do that.
Who was Mike's? You and I, our guys were
I went
talking about.
JOK will be probably a top 5 linebacker next year.
I did Nick Harris, who Jay just mentioned.
And I did Delpit. That's where he went in my category.
So a lot of overlap.
Yeah, we went through the other ones.
Yeah.
Last one, we have 3 of the same answers for this, and Bull, you're on your own. So Bull, I'll let you explain first, and the other 3 can explain. But this is prove it year. Which Browns player is in a prove it year?
I think they got a lot of guys.
Let's see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
There we go.
We all went Donovan Peoples.
Yeah, I see you. I see you. Yeah, I see you.
No doubt.
3
You guys want to
amigos.
explain?
The reason why is, listen, he's going to get every opportunity to be a second, he's a number 2 receiver.
Whether he deserves it or not.
They're going to rep him and keep repping him, and they're not going to bring anybody else in to compete with him. He has all the opportunities.
All right.
And Cooper's going to have their best defender on him for every game, too.
Let me explain something. The first argument of the show, I told these guys they were all lost, except for Mike, because he was with me. And then we went through all the rest, and everybody did great. And once again, we conclude with these guys being lost in the soup.
Oh, that stinks.
Your guy was drafted in the 6th round.
Right.
Okay? Like, if he doesn't prove anything, he was a 6th-round pick.
All right.
A lot of 6th-round picks don't even make rosters when they get drafted. He's already exceeded the expectations for a 6th-round pick. Now, because he's a Brown, and we tend to overrate our own players sometimes, all fans, not just Browns fans, we may expect more from this guy, and I happen to like him. But considering he was a 6th-round pick,
I just remember watching him at Michigan. He was a game changer.
Yeah.
I know he was a 6th-round pick. I can't explain why he slipped. I thought the Browns got a steal with him in the 6th, which is why
I think he's been
pretty
good for a 6th-round pick. David Njoku was a 1st-round pick, has been in the league 5 years, has been at best a slightly below-average player for his position, and just got paid like a superstar.
Why is it a prove-it year?
Because nobody's got more to prove than him.
But he just got a 4-year extension, and I know 2 of it are guaranteed.
But they can get out of it after 2. Certainly after 2 years.
So
maybe
he's going to make $28 million. Hell, he doesn't have anything to prove.
Well,
I mean,
not
to
to
the
get
fans,
paid.
he does not to get paid.
To everybody in the league and the fans, he's got more to prove than anybody.
You know who I almost went with just to satisfy you guys? Cade York.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
I was shocked you didn't pick Cade
Well,
York.
the reason I didn't is because I think he's going to have a great year as a kicker, but when you're a high draft pick as a kicker, you don't get 2 years.
No,
right?
you get the
you
could
get
be
a
cut
year
in 6 weeks if you're not any good.
What did Zane Gonzalez last?
Yeah, not long. Or the guy, remember that guy, Aguayo?
Austin Siebert.
Aguayo.
Man, they missed on some kickers.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, you're right. I already had Njoku in a different thing, but I do agree with you, and I just want to and make that clear. I just think it's like he has the opportunity that he probably shouldn't have as a number 2 receiver, and it's just at least take advantage of that opportunity
please.
Is how we're looking. Prove that you at least stumbled into this opportunity and prove that you at least deserve it. And secondly, Charlie Hewitt is stealing money from this team. Long snapper Charlie Hewitt is stealing money.
I wonder what he makes these days. He's been around like 13 years.
He's making like $1.5 million.
Wow, it's a long snap.
Look it up. Yep. I mean, every year.
Love it.
You only appreciate them until they make a bad snap. And once they make that bad snap and it goes over the punter's head and now all of a sudden it's a touchdown.
I should have been I got the body for a long
Remind me at
snapper.
some point to tell you guys about how I think I gave Ryan Pompery on the yips and ruined his career. And I'm sorry, Ryan.
Story.
All right, here we go. Give us the top 5 here, buddy.
Is your least favorite players in the NBA.
We did our favorite yesterday. We're going to do our least favorite today. But as always, the Ultimate 5 is sponsored by Roundstone Insurance. Roundstone offers a better alternative for affordable quality health care. For more than a decade, Roundstone Insurance has been saving small and mid-sized businesses money, an average of 20%. Yeah, 20%. Contact us today to learn how you can get great health care benefits that your employees will love and save money too. And this one's easy for me. There's a few things I hate in basketball
yesterday
players.
wasn't the favorite. It was the
most fun to watch.
Yeah.
And these are the least fun to watch. So
least fun.
The players that
says
annoy
least
me
favorite
the most.
on the screen.
Yeah, I made that on the fly as we were going through superlatives. I'll be better next time. But all right, let's get to this. We got a lot to get through. Number 5, Kristaps Porzingis. Big guys who refuse to rebound. I don't like. He also flops, and he's always hurt.
Who doesn't flop in the NBA at this point?
We'll get to that in a sec.
But last night there were some really bad acting flops going on.
Jordan Poole got a couple of them. Academy Awards.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
That was more believable than the Chris Rock Will Smith slap. Was that fake?
That was real. That wasn't fake. What are you talking about?
You think that was
fake?
Did
you read a conspiracy?
No. That was real, but Jordan Poole sold the fake slap better than Chris Rock, who actually got slapped. Jordan Poole didn't get touched yesterday.
No, he did not.
No.
All right, who's your
Number 4
favorite player?
Yeah, Rudy Gobert. Once again, a big guy, always around the. He
is a yawn. He's a tall yawn.
Dislikable.
That guy is just a tall yawn.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to
Wasn't he the guy like at the beginning of COVID who started grabbing everybody's mic?
Yeah, he actually
started it.
He's patient zero.
He started COVID.
Patient zero.
Isn't he French?
Thanks for ruining the last 2 years.
I think he is French.
Is he French?
Yeah. He is French.
Of course, he's Frenchman.
They call him the Stifle Tower, which is also a very dislikable
one of the worst.
nickname.
Wait a second. Isn't he one of the best block shot guys in the league?
We ain't
Well,
trying to
I
see
mean,
that.
he should be.
Yeah.
Can you be that boring if you're blocking a lot of shots?
Yeah, he somehow his shot block when he blocks a shot, it's boring somehow.
All right,
it's
fair.
amazing.
If it's not a chase down, it's boring.
Yeah.
Who's 3?
Number 3, we saw him last night. Marcus Smart. He initiates a lot of disagreements on the court, but he's the ultimate flopper. And I can't stand guys who I should like it, I don't, but always try to take charges no matter what.
Yeah.
People be
he
barreling down the
definitely
lane.
is
He
that
just
guy.
flies into them. It just rubs me the wrong way. You'll see the next pick is the king of that. But it just, I don't like it.
I like Marcus Smart.
That seems like an in-the-moment thing for you last night.
Yeah.
But carry on.
No, I haven't been a Marcus Smart fan for a while.
All right.
Number 2, the king of throwing his body in the way of great dunks and ruining things is Kyle Lowry. I mean, talk about guys that flop. I don't know how he ever gets any calls because at this point, NBA referees should know that all he does is flop.
And
He never comes through in big spots.
And plus, he should be on the weight loss challenge. Kyle Lowry out here 255 playing point guard.
He's added LBs for sure.
He's two biscuits away from being an offensive guard.
That's good. We agree.
All right, number one's going to have a lot of disagreement, I think.
Number one for me, this is personal, but it is James Harden now. After the way he got out of Houston, got out of Brooklyn.
Shout out to you.
He doesn't show up in big moments. I don't like the way he plays. It's selfish. He doesn't move without the ball. He plays very little defense. James Harden, to me, would take a lot of money to pay me to watch.
And he also looks mad while he's doing it. That's the other thing. He also is playing like with his chin on his shoulder.
I just want him to shave.
Man, this guy.
I would have had Russell Westbrook on the list.
This is the problem with James Harden for me is when I found out he was like a rapper groupie. Like he's a groupie of Lil Baby and
that's
Dirk.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, right.
And he's like he just says, yeah, they come over my house and be there till 5 in the morning, and I gotta go practice.
He's bragging.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Them is little dudes. Them is your little
children.
Them is little cats. And you talk about you staying up having pajama parties with rappers, bro. Right. Come on, bro.
Bad luck.
Bad luck.
Am I going to get hate for saying that Steph Curry's got to be on that list just as a Cavs fan?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Like, these are guys that
I still like watching that little wizard play basketball.
No, but I don't. I took great enjoyment on watching him go pro for $1 million
the question is not fun to watch.
No, it wasn't fun. It was least favorite.
Okay. It's right in the middle. They're my least favorite.
It depends if you go by the Chiron or the console.
I can't stand when he puts his mouthpiece halfway in his mouth and chews on it.
That made me nuts when they played the Cavs. The mouthpiece, I did want to do something violent.
There's two cats game. They're all pros, but their game is so ugly and like not aesthetically pleasing. Mm-hmm. Jokic, it's just like he's too slow. He doesn't do anything very like athletic, and it's just like plodding. And then Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler walks around like an old dude with knee pads on and gets 40, and I don't know how. He's the dude at the Y that's just I'm like, who has Jimmy Butler? He has 6 layups.
And I find, I hate Draymond Green, but I wouldn't say he's boring to watch.
Yeah.
In the past. See, I just took it differently.
Yeah, right.
No, he's not my least favorite guys to watch because if I'm watching him, it's either in the finals and I'm rooting against Golden State, or it's against the Cavs and I want them to lose.
In the past,
and he gets under the skin of every team he plays against.
In the past, for me, it was Yao Ming because remember, it always looked like he was about to fall down, and it looked like real painful for him to like.
What about
turn
Sean
around.
Bradley?
He looked like a ladder.
That was rough.
He looked like a ladder playing
anytime
basketball.
they turn around, it looked like it was a real endeavor for them.
George
and I'm just
Murasan.
like, and it looked like they didn't want to be there, especially the ones from a different country. This is their only way out. It's like
Manute Bol was awesome.
God rest his soul. He was like 7'7", 90 pounds.
It was just so hard
skeleton.
to watch. Anyways,
all right, we got to do weight loss real quick before we get Robin in.
So let's set the
skip
stage.
weight loss.
Where were we?
This was after last week.
Hey.
In total, Bull lost a pound. G had lost 4.
But coming into this week, it was Bull had lost a total of 13,
and G had lost a total of 12.
I think we should update the graphic for next week to get rid of one of the other things and put the total.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
The height is going away because this way we at least have a running total.
Right.
Okay, we came in a little later today. Didn't have that time.
We have video of the weigh-ins, don't we?
We do a video, so let's take it, Steve.
Wait.
You look like you just worked like a shift driving cab.
That's my
Kids,
depressed
this is
look.
what's happened.
What are we at, Bull?
It's a disaster. 309.5. I gained 6.5 pounds in a
He
week.
said it's a
All
disaster.
right, 309.5.
G's gonna show off with his weight loss. Wearing his skin-tight T-shirt.
Yep.
You earned it, man.
That's my shirt, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. I got it right off the locker.
He's got a medium on.
I'm sucking my stomach in too.
The scale doesn't recognize that.
I know, but it made me feel better. And my heart of hearts.
333. 333?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there it is.
So G. Bush, you were down 3.
That's 3.
Good
I'm
job,
gonna take that
man.
3.
Good job.
And so now in total you're down 15.
15.5, I believe.
Okay.
I'm only down.
Because I started off at 336.
I'm down 5.5 for the record.
That's great. It's better than being up 5.5.
Yeah, I started off.
Talk to our stats team. I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
I like that graphic. I mean, I don't like that graphic, but I like the.
You know what? You're both down.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Positive. That's good. Mike's looking at me like, here comes the J positive spin.
How do you spin this one?
It's a beautiful day outside. No, I am going to keep it positive. Bull, don't get discouraged.
I'm not.
Don't, because I feel that you're a little down. I don't want you to be down. I don't. No. I don't
bring
want
it back
you to be
up.
down.
Let's go.
You're still down 6.
You want me to chase you around the parking lot a little after this? I'll chase you around the parking lot a little bit after this.
No, I'm too tired.
All right.
You know, the key is slow. You got, and we talked about this yesterday.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady wins the race. So it's been 3 or 4 weeks, so you're down about 1.5 pounds a week.
That's
better than being up 1.5 pounds a week or staying the same.
It's a new week. We shake it off.
I knew we were in trouble when you had that first week of 13 because you kind of thought, I made it, I got it.
Yeah. That's it. I got to get back on track.
All right.
Part of the journey.
We're going to break. When we come back, Robyn Lochner of the Browns women's group. These are a group of women that are huge Browns fans. I mean, they put our Browns fandom to shame. She's going to join the program. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson and a lot of other Browns issues just to get a woman's perspective on where things are with the Browns right now. That's when the ultimate Cleveland sports show comes right back.
Hey, Cleveland, it's Adam the Bull. And if you love sports as much as I do, then you've got to be watching the new Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But if you don't have 2 hours to watch it live or on YouTube, well, there's a podcast version, so you're in luck. Listen to it anytime, anywhere. We're doing things on this show that no one else is doing. We're getting crazy. Find out for yourself. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3. Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter. To you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared, from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. And we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did. And it was our connection throughout his life. It's like Red 88.
All right.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We are very pleased right now to have Robyn Lochner joining us in studio. Robyn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So I said the Browns women's group. What is the official title of the group? And if people want to join, how do they do it? If women want to join, how do they do it?
They go on through Facebook and they answer the questions.
She looked right at you, Mike.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike lacked one of the requirements to getting in.
Yeah. Turns out you do have to be a woman.
That's the first question.
I know it was.
And it says, no, decline. Why are you trying?
Right. I know.
Does it really say that?
Yes, it
By
does.
the way, that's how it works too, it turns out, because I was very much declined. Can you tell us about how long the group's been going on and how many of you there are, and just a little bit of history about the group?
The group was started in January of 2019, so just a little over 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was started because women got no respect at all in any of the other. There's a ton of Browns groups on Facebook.
Yes.
And you couldn't make a comment.
It's a real cesspool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got tired of arguing with guys all the time and trying to prove that hey, I can like football and be a woman.
Right.
And no football.
I just I'll start my own group. I don't need.
So you started this group.
I started the group.
Okay.
Yes.
And
how many members?
Yeah, caught on.
Currently, we're at like 6,300 members worldwide. We're in like 10 different countries. We just had a meet and greet on Saturday, and we had around 50 of the women show up, but it's hard to get everybody.
That's great, though.
Hard to get everybody there,
And so tell us, how much better is it for you guys to talk Browns in a forum like that? Explain that.
I mean, we have the same disagreements and discussions. It's just with more respect. We don't cut each other down. We don't call names. We don't bash our players. We don't bash the team. We just like to talk the game. We talk the game. We talk what's happening, community events, players, things to that. Just normal football conversation.
Right.
So,
but without a bunch of people butting in and saying, "Well, let me tell you why you're wrong about that," and stuff like that.
And we do. I mean, I have a moderator that helps me. She actually is in Tennessee, so it's literally like a full-time job. But we kind of keep things on the straight and narrow.
How do you police each other in that way?
We didn't
what's
really.
What's it take to get no longer welcome in the forums?
We didn't have to even have a lot of. We didn't have a lot of issues until Deshaun Watson came. Then we had to turn on post approval because every news article was pertaining to that. So everything created the rift, created the drama, created a split. So they've just learned over the years to agree to disagree and have different opinions and to be respectful of each other's thoughts and opinions.
This is interesting, though. I'm sorry. This is interesting that you said prior to this, everybody pretty much got along and you didn't have to throw anybody out or anything like that or sanction anyone or whatever.
Right.
But that sort of disagreement and rift within your community only came when the signing happened.
Oh, yeah.
And how's that been going in there? What's the overall tone?
We've had to turn on post approval, which has given us more work to do, Anastasia and I. But it's like I said, they've learned to just kind of agree to disagree and voice their opinions respectfully, without saying, like, you're an idiot. Why would you think that? They've just learned to be a little bit more respectful. Some women have left. I mean, for every 100 women that left the group when we signed and said, I can't be a Browns fan anymore because of this, and they literally left the group. We got 100 more that wanted to come in. So,
what does the percentage feel like within the group right there, anti this move as opposed to pro this move, or at least accepting this move?
I mean, I haven't polled the group, so I mean, I can't really speak on that for the group.
Sure.
But I mean, it's kind of like there's a lot that are for and a lot that are against, and to the point now that every other day 2 more. We're coming out in multiples of 2 now, obviously. That it's just we're like, seriously, here's 2 more. Okay, so it's like I said this morning, we got 40 more women to go. So why is anybody surprised at what's happening?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think that it's good. I think that there would be a lot of men that would assume there'd be less divide on this topic about women, which I didn't think would be the case, and you're saying is not the case, that there is as much divide amongst women Browns fans as there is amongst men Browns fans.
I mean, we're women, we're not different than men. We have the same opinions that you guys do. We just do it a little bit more respectfully to each other in our group.
I'll co-sign that.
I
do think, though, based on the nature of the crime, it would make sense that that women might be more sensitive to this, as opposed to if he had gotten busted for stealing a bunch of cars or something like that.
Exactly.
Then it would be like, I could understand, but it probably is a different perspective, I would assume, coming at this from a female Browns fans.
Absolutely. And especially female Browns fans who have been victims of sexual assault.
Sure.
That's, we have massage therapists in our group. So, I mean, we get their perspective from it as well, and the same goes with hairdressers or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, no
Robyn,
offense, but y'all are men. You can't control things.
Robyn, where are you on this? Did you like the move? Dislike
I did not like the move.
Why not?
Because of the baggage. I mean, let's be honest.
At least.
Let's be honest. The Browns have been the laughingstock of the NFL for how many years now? I mean, a long time, going back to the Art Modell era. So you got a great player, but he comes with this baggage. Did I like the signing? No. If the Browns would have waited until all the civil suits were done and over with, all this was cleared up, then signed him. That would have been completely different. You know, we know whether he's guilty or innocent. We know how many women there are total. And instead, we're playing the long game, and we're going 2 by 2 by 2. Just do it, you know. I mean,
will this affect your fandom? Probably.
I was going to ask that question too. How is it for you?
I'm a diehard fan. I mean, I live literally, and my husband will attest to this. If anybody's not talking to me about Browns football, I don't listen. It doesn't affect my fandom because Deshaun Watson is not the Cleveland Browns. He may be the face of the Cleveland Browns at this point in time, but he's not the team. And I love Chubb and Myles Garrett and Kareem Hunt, and I'm not going to say I'm not a Browns fan because of one player. I mean, it is a business. So players come and players go, and we're all aware of that. But to say I'm no longer a fan because of one signing, I mean, I wasn't happy they let Hollywood go. That was my boy. I like Hollywood. Since 2016, when we signed him, I knew he's going to be the player, but very underrated, never got used like he should have. But, you know, he left. That doesn't mean I'm not a fan of the Browns anymore. That just means now I have to follow Hollywood individually with the Panthers. So.
Did you guys have that same type of divisiveness with topics like Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield was a huge divisive topic for a lot of other Browns fans. How was it in your group?
Same. It was absolutely the same. We have a ton of women from Oklahoma that are in the group that love Baker, following him through the college days, and then, you know, that we really like Baker in the group. And Baker has a great personality. The progressive commercials, you know, were hilarious. And we kind of like the behind-the-scenes things with the players, because it actually shows that they are people also, instead of just athletes on a field. So, yeah, they love Baker. The group loves Baker.
Let's show your football fan muscle, because enough of this. We've got your talk on that. One of the things that we've been beating this drum, and a lot of media members were last year. Where is the group? Where are you on the notion that for some reason we can't put Chubb and Hunt in the backfield or on the field at the same time?
Well,
does that drive you as crazy as it does us?
Yes, and I do after the games on Sundays, Mondays, whatever. I do what I call it Robin's recap. And I always do it the next day because, depending on the outcome, I'm sometimes too mad to do it.
Cooling down period.
Yeah, and I need to just basically think it out, replay. You know, where were we off? What could we have done here? And so I wait until the next morning and I do my little recaps. But I have said that for years. Why are we not putting both backs? Why are we not putting all three back there somewhere? I mean, you know, I got so many coaching questions. It's not even funny on what we're doing with play calling and stuff to that nature.
What was the mood in the forum when the Njoku extension happened?
Everybody seemed to like that. I mean, Njoku has improved from at least the last 2 years. He's gradually, when he requested that trade, you know, he's kind of had an off year there, and so we were, I guess, tabling maybe that. Is he tradable, or what are we going to get out of him?
Right.
But then, you know, he stepped up. He wanted to stay. He made some changes. He improved himself, and I think he keeps improving year after year. A little overrated, maybe, worth that money, but
he agrees.
He's tall. He's got so much better with his hands on catching.
Yeah,
he's not making as many drops as he used to, you know, years ago. So I think it was good to keep him.
All right, Robin, you were here for that game we played with the superlatives. So we'll throw a couple of them at you. I know we're just at the moment. So one of them was the best player on the Browns we had 3 different answers: Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, and Deshaun Watson. I mentioned also maybe you could put Bitonio in there too. Who would be your choice? For the best
Nick
player?
Chubb, obviously. Nick Chubb.
She knows
And Myles Garrett.
Every time she agrees with me, I'm going to say
yeah, and me too.
And you too. Yeah.
Bull and I almost never agree.
That's right. That's right. So Nick Chubb is the best, you think?
Yes.
Well, let's follow that up with somebody who has the most to prove this year. One person you got your eye on.
That's a tricky one too.
Yeah.
That's
My
hard
opinion, the person who has the most to prove is Greedy Williams.
That's a good one too.
That is a good one.
He does, and he was a high draft pick also, and he hasn't done much.
Always injured. He's got a lot to prove. I'm sort of kind of surprised we still have him, to be honest.
Shots fired, Greedy Williams.
No,
I mean,
I agree.
He's a
I like
great.
that.
Yeah.
I thought there was a chance he could be a surprise cut last year in training.
Yeah.
I just like the you just impressed G. Bush with your ruthlessness.
Yeah,
I just thought he goes. I like that she's being mean to him.
I wasn't being mean. I just think he needs to step up.
Right.
You know, don't. Not everything's an injury. Sometimes you got to suck it up. I mean, come on.
That's right.
It's football.
You sound like my mother right now.
I have 5 boys, so.
Oh yeah.
5 boys?
Wow,
boys.
no kidding.
Yeah, there's no mercy. It's like you're not bleeding, you're fine.
Yep, get in there.
How about most overrated and underrated on the Browns? Do you have one for those?
Underrated, I think, is probably Anthony Schwartz.
You think you think he's got a chance to shine?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping he does. He's so fast.
He is.
I would like to see us take advantage of that.
You think he's going to get some opportunities?
I also think Jakeem Grant is kind of.
Yeah, nobody said that.
I like that.
As well.
Yeah.
He's a new return guy. He's gonna get some. He's gonna get an opportunity. I think he play a lot on offense too.
Yeah.
I like that.
And overrated, I'm gonna probably say Jedrick Wills.
Yeah.
Jedrick.
Wow, that was 3 then, all told for Wills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not Charlie Hewlett, the long snapper.
You know.
Well, it's all right. I'll die on that hill alone.
Yeah.
What's your biggest concern heading? Well, you know, besides Watson, because we don't know what's going to happen there. But besides Watson, biggest concern on the team right now.
I don't really have a big concern on the team. My big concern is play calling.
So you're down on Stefanski.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say down. I just want him to be creative, and he's not. He's predictable.
What was the chatter when the Browns hired Kevin Stefanski? I've heard from women I know that he's somewhat attractive. I imagine that became a thread in the group.
Are you saying you're incapable of seeing that man is beautiful?
Come on, you like
He's
his
a good
What is
looking
the
guy.
matter
You don't
with
need to
you?
be a woman to
It's
know
a
he's good
beautiful
looking.
man.
I
salt
think
and
he's
peppers.
referred to a lot as a silver fox. So
Nice.
yes.
Real question though, did he become less attractive because of how he coached last year as opposed to, was he more attractive to people in
Yes.
2020 than he was in 2021?
Well, I can't honestly answer that because I've not seen anybody post any pictures of him without a shirt on.
Right, true. Yep.
So
that's a good point.
But they do like to post pictures of him at like outings and things.
When
of
you
that
coach the
nature.
Browns, though, you age like a president. You really do.
No, that boy, you aren't kidding.
That's
So
100% true.
let me ask you this. So you got 5 boys, right?
Yes.
So I know you cook up a storm. I know you get it together. What is your game day routine? Like, what is your if you
Home or away?
Home.
We have a bus.
Okay.
Does that shock anyone?
Is
Is
this
it-
a big?
did you
big
drive
ball?
here in it?
We haven't even
I did
talked
not
about
drive
your
it.
outfit.
Is
I
it
mean,
part-
she's wearing brown stuff from head to toe. Even her
expected that.
shoes.
Yeah.
There's my bus.
Oh, there's the bus.
Oh, there's the
Look at
bus
that.
right
We
there.
got it.
Is there any? What type of food is on this bus? Because I'm big.
We have a Browns grill actually. So we just take whatever sausage, hamburgers, hot dogs. We do stuff in a crock pot and we sit it out. And
it's
that's my dog Cleveland.
The Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show needs a bus.
Why
I've just
can't we-
decided.
Yeah.
We out here.
You
We
did not
losing.
drive that here, though, today, unfortunately. did you?
No,
Darn,
I
that
don't
would've
drive
been
it.
fun.
My son drives the bus.
What is
My
that?
son's
That's
a
why you
bus
have
That
driver.
is awesome.
What is that game that we just played?
It wasn't a game.
Oh, what was that?
Have I been on that bus?
It's a table. You
I
have
think
to-
I
oh
haven't.
my.
No.
Oh, that. Okay.
It's a table. The
Oh,
top
those are
lifts
cup
up.
holders on the end.
I might have been on that
Yeah,
bus and you
they're
didn't know it.
You got to have a place
Sweet.
to hold your beer.
Can
so,
we do a show from
you
that
know,
bus?
How did you?
Yeah.
Who designed that and who like?
It was. I have 5 boys and
Yeah.
my husband
Yeah.
and
Community effort.
My husband traded 2 guns to get that bus.
That is the most Ohio thing I've heard all day.
Right?
Easily the most Ohio thing I've heard all day.
I'll give you 2 guns for the bus. Deal.
Man.
It worked.
Well,
Sure,
don't worry.
I'd rather have the bus.
Don't worry. The governor just made it easy for you to get those guns back.
Yeah.
So the bus was like red and white, and it was a camper, like traveling when we bought it. And
That's
me
awesome.
and my sons and my husband, we gutted it out and
Converted the whole thing.
Yes, we converted the whole thing, and that was.
You hit every game?
My Browns, every home game, yes.
Nice.
Season ticket holder, so I'm there.
So what's your pregame ritual on road games when you're at the house? What do you cook? What's on the menu?
It just depends on what they request. They always have different things they request, but it's always ready before a game because I'm not cooking. And
once kickoff starts, your work is
right.
Absolutely.
Good luck, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are some pictures from the group? Is that what we're looking at
yeah.
now? That's cool. And you guys have like regular like get-togethers and stuff?
We had our first get-together, but usually they want to meet up at games and stuff or tailgate.
Yeah.
Are you at training camp all the time?
I love training camp.
Nice.
Very good.
I love training
Do
camp.
you have a prediction? Let's do 2 predictions here.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson somehow miraculously plays the whole season. It's not going to happen, but if maybe he'll play all next year. What kind of team are we looking at with Watson if he's on the field the whole season?
That would be great. No denying he's a superior quarterback.
Sure.
And we've given him weapons. I mean, he's undoubtedly, I definitely think we'd be a Super Bowl contender.
Really? Yeah.
Why
12,
wouldn't we be?
13 wins maybe?
Why wouldn't we?
Listen.
Who's going against us? Lamar?
I've heard in Cleveland, I've heard Super Bowl contender a couple of times the last 3 or 4 years. Hasn't worked out that way.
Well, the Browns would be a Super Bowl contender if Watson played 17 games.
Yes.
However, there are a number of other Super Bowl contenders in the AFC because the AFC is so strong.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's as tough as I can ever remember it being.
Yes.
Right.
At least coming into the season.
But
what
not
if they have to
Pittsburgh.
go with a backup quarterback the whole
Pittsburgh
year?
sucks
And that's
now.
possible too. I love you.
Pittsburgh does suck.
What if they have to go with a backup quarterback the whole year, which is possible?
I like Jacoby Brissett, but if we're trading Baker or whatever the talks may be, because every day it's something different and the media brings out something different to just stir the pot. So
love stirring that pot.
Yes. So I think if they're going to bring somebody else in, if I had to say, I would say go after Cam Newton because he's still sitting out there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Listen, she on the way. Put the camera back on. Get rid of these shots. We got to endorse her. Right now, she's on the waiver wire. She done told you 2 or 3 things she's upset about Kevin Stefanski. She said, go get me Cam Newton as a backup to the backup. Listen, this woman is talking that real talk. If you're a woman, you need to be joining this group because this group actually has people that listen and know football, and she's at training camp every single day. I'm just saying. That's a personal endorsement, like it didn't mean anything.
Here's an offer that I think that we should make and take it or leave it. You guys have your conversations in there, and first of all, that was one of the nicest groups that's ever rejected me, and I appreciate that.
and he's been rejected a number of times.
Believe me, I'm so used to it. I have so many calluses. I felt nothing, but it was an honor to be rejected by you. But if you guys are ever talking about something in there, we don't expect to be privy to it. But if there's anything that you ever, a conversation that you think is important, that you think it would be helpful for other people to see, if you send that to us, we're happy to post it from our social media too and stuff.
Sure.
And if that's ever something you want, and that includes if you want us to help recruit or like say, ladies, if anybody wants to join this group or anything. I'm sorry, I'm speaking on behalf of as if but
you're mansplaining.
No, I'm just saying if there's anything that you want to educate us on that you think would be helpful for us to know.
What do we get wrong? So from a woman's perspective, what's the biggest mistake that men as fans make?
You mean towards women's fans or
in general?
In the
Maybe
groups,
it could be the way we look at women's opinions in sports, or are we too aggressive? Do we want to fire everybody too fast? Like what's our hitch?
Bandwagons.
Are we really?
My opinion.
That's interesting. Because man, I've been with this team for 56 years and I've got nothing to show for it. I mean nothing.
Well, let's see. So we get Deshaun Watson. Everybody's excited about this, right? for the most part, the men are all, yes, we got a quarterback, we're going to the Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. The women are like, hold up, he's got baggage. What about us? We don't care about you. You mean nothing. I would love to have a conversation with Jimmy Haslam as to see why he sold the Browns to Deshaun Watson, because he don't own them anymore. $230 million, Deshaun Watson owns the Browns.
Yeah.
So
he's at least renting them for 4 or 5 years.
Were they fair to Baker, in your view?
No, they were not fair to Baker.
Tell us why not.
Why are you going to tell Baker, Baker's going to be our starting quarterback? Baker's our guy, we're sticking with Baker, and then you screw him over like that.
Look at him when you say that.
It's football, it's business, they don't owe him anything.
I get it, but don't you think he took us to a playoff? Don't you think, out of respect, that they should have at least said, hey, Baker, we know you were injured, but your numbers sucked. You were off.
Right.
We shouldn't have played you, and they should not have played him as the coach. He should have said, I get you got the guts and you want to get out there and play.
I 100%
But you're going
agree
to
with
sit
that.
down because we don't want to injure you anymore.
Right.
So I feel that me, not the group, I feel that they kind of, injured Baker on top of the injury because he's not nobody wants him. He's still sitting here on our roster.
Right.
But, and I get that, it's a business. But what pisses me off is Baker, being Baker and cocky like he is, it seems like he's not fighting. And I want Baker to go to training camp. I want Baker to have that cocky attitude and say, listen, I can do this. Let me show you that I'm as good as Deshaun Watson. Let me show you my arm's fixed. I can throw again, and I'm going to take us back to where we left off.
Particularly when they're not going to have a quarterback.
Well, I'd have no problem. I'd have no problem with him doing that. Obviously, it's not going to happen. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I don't think the Browns did him wrong any more than any other player gets done wrong. In the
I just think out of respect for him and what he's done for the organization and for the community, he's done a lot for the community. They should have said, your numbers suck. We're going to look for other options.
Yeah.
We're keeping you in the loop of what we're doing. You don't have to like it because you don't get to like what your boss decides to do.
Right.
But your boss is telling you at least.
This is going to sound like I'm Cleve-splaining to you because you're not from here.
Yes.
But I really do think that part of the reason that you have maybe have a harder time appreciating Baker is because you haven't been here as long as we were, and we haven't had that horrible thing setting in our hearts this whole time.
Well,
so he's the guy who finally won us a playoff game.
Right, I get it.
I
do
think it's
get
an
it.
emotional thing
I
for
do
us.
get it as someone who grew up rooting for teams that never won. Also.
Yeah, but the emotion's different when it's your team. And Mike, I completely agree with you. And I don't hold that against you, Bull.
But
you
but here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line: is that because you guys are too emotional about
I agree.
it. Yeah. And you overrate what Baker's done for the most organizations, if a guy won one playoff game, we're not saying, look what he did.
We're not most organizations.
But
we've had one in 30 years.
Strive to be.
We've had one in 30 years.
You shouldn't lower your standard.
We're not.
Yes, you are. I'll come to your defense here.
Yeah.
I've been born and raised in Canton, Ohio, right at the shadows of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm tired of seeing other people go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I see Boomer Esiason. I see these guys, the Bengals, go twice. I've seen all these other dudes. I'm like, yo, I need something to get there. I shout out to Baker. He's not terrible, but I'll give him credit where credit is due. But at the end of the day, if I can make the move and I'm upgrading, I'm upgrading.
The way our movie ends, and Mike and I know this, we're like, careful that anvil that's going to fall out of the sky and hit you. The way our movie usually ends is Baker goes to Seattle and wins the Super Bowl, and we're stuck holding the bag.
Yep. Or he goes to Carolina and
why
lose
none
the first
of the other Brown quarterbacks are
Right.
running.
He hooked up with Hollywood
with Ben Roethlisberger.
for the game-winning
Browns
touchdown.
fans were begging the Browns to draft Ben Roethlisberger, and we didn't. And he went to Pittsburgh, our hated rival, and kicked our ass for 20 years.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. If the first game of the season is Carolina versus the Browns, right?
That's what's coming.
If Baker Mayfield is versus Jacoby Brissett, right?
Yeah. Yep.
The Panthers got a swinging chance in that
out.
game.
That's true. And the Browns, the Browns might only win by 13. You're right.
All right, we got a break.
Thank you,
Robin, you were
Thanks.
fantastic.
Thank
you
you
so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks,
tell
Robin.
tell the viewers again. It's the Cleveland Browns Facebook group.
Cleveland Browns women's group.
Women's group.
Yes.
Cleveland Browns women's group. If If you're not a member and you want to join,
you don't want to deal with all these obnoxious men. Go.
Yeah, that's a good filter, actually. If women ran the world, there'd be a lot fewer problems.
My God, there'd be so much of a better place.
We're taking a break. We're coming back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show after this. Robin, thanks.
Thank you, Robin.
Hey Cleveland, it's Adam the Bull. And if you love sports as much as I do, then you've got to be watching the new Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But if you don't have 2 hours to watch it live or on YouTube, well, there's a podcast version, so you're in luck. Listen to it anytime, anywhere. We're doing things on this show that no one else is doing. We're getting crazy. Find out for yourself. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
When you watch Front Row, you never have to ask what's going on in Cleveland.
It is our job to get you up to speed on the latest news and events so you can enjoy all our city has to offer. We are bright, bold, and all about the action.
Whether you're a diehard Browns fan, waiting on breaking news, or searching for a special event for a weekend away,
our hometown has it all. So join us. We're waiting for you. Front Row, weeknights at 7.
Seeing, knowing, and understanding Northeast Ohio is something we take very seriously.
Because in our connected world, what happens in one community can have an impact on others,
leading to difficult challenges and opportunities for reflection and growth.
So, for in-depth analysis of how today's top stories affect you, your family, and our communities across Northeast Ohio,
join us for 3 News at 6.
So you know what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I'm a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. My favorite all-time Cleveland sports moment, you're not going to believe this, it was Rajay Davis's home run in Game 7 that tied the score.
My favorite Cleveland sports moment would have to be the Kyrie Irving 2016 shot. It's the only time that I've ever cried over any sporting event.
And my ultimate Cleveland memory is when the Cavs won the championship and the day of the parade. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life.
Get him up out of here. Get him up out of here.
All right, we're back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We're super excited right now because we are going to be joined by a 13-year vet from the NBA. I think he spent part of 4 seasons with the Cavs, including the 2016 championship season.
He is a champion.
Channing Frye, welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on?
I got to say, it's great to see that smiling face again. We missed that face in Cleveland.
Well, I appreciate it. I miss Cleveland. But, I got kids, and we're running around the country doing stuff. And, I've just been really kind of happy with what's going on with the finals. These games have been amazing. It takes me back. I get these texts from our infamous text group of like, man, they still running those same plays. And, look at this play or look at that. And it's nice reminiscing. But 6 years seems so long.
Oh, my God, it really does.
I got to go back to the end of it, the parade. Because that day being downtown for us was like, I'll never forget that moment of that parade, the sea of humanity down East 9th Street. What was that like from your perspective?
Well, number one, I think we only went 2 square miles, and it took us 4.5 hours. So we were like, number one, we had no beers. It was hot as heck, right? So I brought my kids and my friends, and we're in the back of trucks and stuff. Yeah. So we're like, people are throwing us beers, and we're cracking them just to get something to drink. Richard and I, the 2 people probably least deserved to hold that championship trophy, it got lost behind us because we were last. So somebody ran up, and we're the only people, if you look at the film, the only people who have that trophy the whole time until finally somebody from, I think, LeBron's crew or whoever was like, what are you doing? Give this back. And we're like, well, we've already had it for 2 hours, so here you go. The thing's heavy anyways. Man. But it was amazing, man. I'm glad I had that video. It was one of the wildest experiences I may ever have in my entire life.
Channing, when you talk about that, I've watched that series probably like 8 times from beginning to the end. And I always wondered this, when did you guys have an inkling, like you down 3-1 to the Warriors, and you had that inkling like, oh, we got these dudes. We got these dudes a little bit. We might be able to pull this thing off.
No, you know what? Our attitude was we have to muck this game up, and we have to when Golden State is running, and you see how even last night's game, they go on these crazy runs, and if you don't stop their runs, if you're not physical with them and stick to your game plan, attack the offensive rack, you have to get layups on them. And so if you watch that series, we settle for a lot of jumpers early, and especially in our losses. And then when those guys get out and run, it's impossible to guard them. So for us, we were like, if we just limit our mistakes, we felt like we had the two best players in the series. For us, we felt like we did.
Yeah.
We felt like Bron could get you 40, obviously what he did, and Kyrie can go off between 30 and 50, and everyone else just has to play minimal mistake basketball. And then I think for us, when we figured out we were going to be kind of the I don't want to say the bullies, but we were the guys kind of messing with Steph, messing with Draymond. We kind of leave Clay alone because we like him. But, we just were like, if you get a layup on them, you can give your defense a chance to get set. If you miss a long, bad three, they have 5 guys who can get out and run, and then that's dribble handoffs, and then they're running crazy. And being up 2 going down 7 in 3 possessions. So that's how we saw it. But when it got to Game 7, we said, hey, all the pressure's on them. We wouldn't have made it here if it wasn't our chance to win it.
You know, Shanny, something that drives me crazy. I know it drives the fans here crazy. And I wonder if it bothers you and the other players. I feel like it's still to this day, members of the national media, especially, even the guys on TNT and ESPN, will often say when referring to that series, if Draymond doesn't get suspended, the Warriors would have won the game. Okay, listen, we never know what would happen. Who knows? We'll never know. But there's guys, right? But it's so stupid because every year there's a guy hurt. You guys the year before, Kevin Love got hurt. Kyrie, nobody ever brings that up in 2015.
No.
That gets taught, that Draymond suspension for that game, I think it's brought up as an excuse more than any other that I can think of. Is that fair, and does it tick you guys off?
No, those people can kiss my ass because we still had to win 2 more games.
That's what I'm talking about.
And number 2, let's be real. The biggest injury, the biggest play in that whole series was Andrew Bogut getting hurt.
Yep.
Andrew Bogut, it was huge for them. Yeah. Imagine what Looney is doing, but assist, better screener, better passer, and better shot blocker. Like when he got hurt, that's when we said we have to get layups. If you watch the first games when he was playing, he was blocking everything. He was everywhere, right? And then when they had to play that small lineup a lot, I think Kevin got a concussion. Richard started. Mm-hmm. So now we were switching all 5, which is the only way to really play them. You cannot play basketball defensively against them and put 2 people on the ball. They're just too well. They do 3 things, all of them, every single one do 3 things really well. Maybe except right now for Jordan Poole. I think he does 2 things really well. But for me and us, when Kevin got hurt, Richard went in, that changed it, and Andrew Bogut getting hurt. The Draymond thing is the Draymond thing. Let's talk about the 24 other technicals he got. It's our job to make him get another technical. If you didn't, it's our job to make Steph upset where he throws his mouthpiece. Right. It's our job to make this game as unflattering as possible to give ourselves a chance. We're desperate. If you're in a bar fight, you think I'm not going to bite you? I'm going to tear your fingers off. I don't care if I got to win. Like, what are we doing? There's no rules. We got to win, and we did. So everyone who devalues that championship, just, number 1, kiss my ass. Number 2, you don't know what you're talking about. And number 3, we have the greatest championship in the last 20 years, and that's just a fact.
No doubt.
You know, let me follow that up real quick because I'll be with you, and I was feeling so good coming off that. And then the Golden State Warriors did the unthinkable. Now, you talked about how hard it was to guard these dudes with the handoffs, and then they go get Kevin Durant. And
it's impossible.
We got my OG, shout out to Brad Sellers, the mayor. My OG, I tell him, I said, listen, I'm going to let you know right now, I like Chicago Bulls. I like a lot of those teams, but that Golden State Warriors team was the best team ever assembled. Ever.
Yeah.
Facts.
It's just like, facts. Who are you switching? Because remember on those old Bulls teams, I'll say this. Steve Kerr was out there. You got, whether you want to go with John Paxson, there was a dud out there that was not an elite defensive player. Okay? So you got to double team Steph. You got to double team at some point Clay. Draymond is going to be efficient at what he does, and Kevin Durant is a lot. He's who? You can't say Scotty, you can't say Jordan because they're not 7 foot. And at the end of the day, in transition, you're not always going to be able to match up like that. That was a problem. Is that when somebody, let's say we switch, which is the only way to defend them, you can't show, you can't drop an ice, you can't double team. Because who are you going to give it to? Oh, Andre Iguodala, Finals MVP, Kevin Durant, Steph, Clay, Draymond. All these dudes are like point guards. And Draymond just can't score that well. But regardless, it was when we were watching film, we were like, all right, who are we going to double team today? The greatest shooter of all time or the top 3 scorer of all time? And then we just got to pick and choose. And then they had the guy who scored the most points in a quarter. So you can't not pay attention to him and everyone else that got a green light. It's just, come on, man. Let's watch the film, realize how amazing that team was. And nobody had a chance unless they got hurt, which is why Toronto won. And they still almost lost that series.
Channing, you mentioned the Steph Curry with the mouthpiece. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, but like that would drive the fans crazy. At the time, I was doing a radio show before moving over to this show, and I would be frothing at the mouth, screaming about how much every time he would have that mouthpiece hanging out of his mouth, you wanted to jump through the TV. And, you don't really want to do it, but you get caught. It made us all so angry as a player. And you just mentioned it briefly that you would mess with Steph and you mess with Draymond because they were annoying. And even his fans were like, yeah, Clay's not as annoying as those guys. But you guys felt the same way too, huh?
Well, you have to learn to hate them. They are great, genuinely awesome human beings, all of them. Andre Iguodala is a college teammate. Steve Kerr is a U of A guy, so he got to be cool. And he was my mentor, gave me my chance in Phoenix. Sean Livingston is a genuinely nice guy. Draymond is a great guy. Clay is awesome. Steph is an angel. Like, they're nice guys. They play basketball in a way that is conducive for them to be unstoppable when they get into a rhythm. We had to make stuff up in our mind to hate them. We were like, ooh, I hate his mouthpiece. Or why does he rub his feet like that? Like, we watched so much of them. You had to, because then you don't let them they're not Draymond's a talker, but Draymond's like, that's his job. He has to be the bad kid on the private school team, right? Because that's what gets them going. Because they're nice. So for us, we had to be the bad public school kids that nobody believed in. Right? So that was our attitude. We were like, F this guy, F that guy. Luke Walton is Richard Jefferson and I's best friend for a long time. Jaron Collins was on their coaching staff, and some of the other guys I've known since my Phoenix days. They text me and Richard, hey, good luck this series. We said, F you, don't text us the whole series. Don't talk to us. Don't talk to us.
You need to hate them.
Fans love that.
You have to hate them. You can't give them an inch or else they're going to beat you. Like last night, Boston started giving them inches, and they started taking those inches. And then, like Clay, you don't show on that screen. You're back a foot. You're back, not in his airspace, and now he makes 2 or 3 threes. You think Jordan Poole's not going to shoot that shot. He shoots it, makes it to finish the quarter. Like, those are things you can't give them. You can't give them anything. They're too good.
I feel like that's where they won the game. They hit that last-second shot going into the third quarter. They came out in the fourth quarter, and they were clearly inspired by that, and they rode it all the way to the victory. I want to ask you, why is it – I know he's a great player and everything, and he's the greatest shooter the game's ever seen. But why is it last night, while Steph is throwing one brick after another, finished 0 for 9 for three-point range, I never heard Mike Breen, I never heard Van Gundy. Nobody said, and why is this guy getting a pass?
Well, I think we look at, he's easy to love. And Golden State Warriors fans will, in droves, come at you. They will cancel you so quick if you say anything about Steph Curry. Now, I'll say this. I thought Steph Curry missed those shots because, number one, he was being guarded at half court. He wanted to make an impact on the game. He needed a rhythm. And if you notice, before he made his first one, they were forcing him to make twos. And that is very uncomfortable for him, right? When he can't get a three off, I don't know if he was ready to get into that rhythm. I thought Boston did a good job defensively on him, pushing him into those hard floaters. That's exhausting for him. And then on the other end, you notice everyone has the green light to go against him. Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they clear out when Steph is on him because that's the matchup they wanted. Boston went away from that. When things got tough, they stopped finding him. He's the only guy other than Jordan Poole that might get you a double team from Golden State to get you open threes. But Steph is untouchable, and this is just a fact. He's untouchable about any game if he doesn't play that good. It's just, you can't say anything or else people are going to jump on you. He's not like LeBron, which is polarizing. He is the poster child. We love him no matter what. And, I mean, he's earned it. He's a bad boy. But, yeah, he doesn't get the same treatment as the other superstars.
Yeah, he deserved to have his game ripped last night. And I know he's a great player and everything else, but he would miss one after another, and nobody was saying anything about what the hell's wrong with Steph.
Right.
It just seemed like he was getting a pass for the entire game. It was driving me nuts.
Channing, excellent analysis, the kind of analysis we've come to expect from you. I love what you bring. That. I love what you bring to the NBA in your post-NBA career right now as far as a player.
Thank you.
And you and obviously Jefferson are great together. You guys, if you guys get this Muppet reference, you're like the Statler and Waldorf of the NBA.
Yes.
That's you guys.
Yes.
Just so you know, which should be taken as the honor with which I mean it.
It is. I got it.
Love watching you play here. Loved watching you stretch the floor out. Loved being here in 16 for the championship. But we've buried the most important thing that we should be talking about. I want to know everything about Timothy Mozgov. Everything you know. I want to know what he ate.
I'm going to tell you this. He was as strong as an ox, and he always stayed ready, which is respectable. When we went to the smaller lineup with Tristan or me or Kevin or me, and maybe Braun and me, we went at that 4-5. I'll say this. Mozzie was doing full court workouts that were like rookie summertime workouts just so he was ready.
Well, he was
also,
Russian,
Mozzie was
of course.
An awesome teammate. Yeah, dude, listen. I feel sorry. If it was him or a bear, I'd be like, pray for the bear. Right? And then he has the best commercial I've ever seen in my life.
Let's roll it right now. We've got it. Here it is.
No, we don't. What?
Get this weak stock out of here. I'm hungry for the brew garden. Fabulous food, fine spirits, fantastic people. My home away from home, the brew garden.
Now hiring both locations.
Oh my God, I've never seen that before.
I love how he looks off camera.
All right, that's probably enough. Just the once.
I'm hungry for the brew garden.
Just the once.
Oh my God, I've never seen that.
Everyone, I know we all want to talk about it, but just shut up for a second. We actually have somebody who could answer some questions here. I've had so many questions about this for so long. All right, maybe you can help out. A couple of theories out of the gate. First of all, I'm thinking the jersey's on backwards because they realized that they couldn't use a licensed NBA logo at the last second.
That's exactly why.
So they turned it around because the Brew Garden manager didn't think about that.
Shocker.
Secondly, he looks like he's looking off to the side as if he's already done this like 47 times and it hasn't gone right yet, and he's scared he's going to get yelled at again. Third, I think he got taken advantage of and probably did that in exchange for wings. Answer those in any order you want to.
Number one, I've never seen Mozzie reading an English book. I've only seen him reading Russian books, so I don't know how good his English reading is. Number two, that fake jersey, I don't know who BG is. I know we were not sponsored by
It's Brewgard's.
It's from Team Brewgard.
I did not put two and two together, so that's Channing being stupid. Three, I don't know how many beers I've ever seen him pay, but Brew Garden should keep replaying this for their entire history.
Yes.
And he had the Brew Garden, like, Ruski hats that they had extra when I got traded here. And so I had like 7 of them and wore them the whole time. They'd be like, hey, Mozzie, where do you want to go eat? I'd be like, you want to go to the Brew Gardens? Yeah, he didn't know what was happening.
Weak stuff out of you.
No. Yeah, get their weeks. And they did. There's another actual commercial with somebody I think a lady who works at the Brew Garden that owns it.
Yeah,
that's equally as funny,
it's fantastic.
awkward,
Oh
and
my God.
Where are we? Are we in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Where are we? Like, what city is
that?
this?
Is amazing.
Yeah, it is. If we have the other one, it's fantastic.
We got it?
Do we have the other one?
There should be one connected to that. You'll find it's Brew Garden 2, Mozgov or something.
I'm on it. Hold on.
He's on it.
Okay.
We're getting to it.
Dude.
But no, and this one opens up a whole new mystery because it introduces a new character to the scenario.
Okay.
Her name is Lisa.
Okay.
All right. And here's what I've noticed about this commercial. This is where he's actually interacting with somebody. And first of all, he says, "Hey, Lisa, you really raised the ceiling," which isn't a saying. First of all, and secondly, it's like poorly. It's really.
She
poorly.
raised the bar or raised the roof?
And no, I know it should have been one of those things. Secondly, Lisa's like definitely the most very Parma. Lisa's very Parma.
Oh my God.
Lisa's extremely Parma. And also he says fabulous food. Great spirits, the Brew Garden, my home away from home. And then the tag says, the Brew Garden, you had me at hello, which makes no sense. That is just a quote from Jerry Maguire.
No, they love Jerry Maguire. They love the movie.
But what does that have to do with Brew Garden?
Nothing.
Unlike in the first one where he used the tag of his 15-second commercial to mention they were hiring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're trying to get that across.
That's
These are
bizarre
my
too.
favorite
Do we have it or no?
It was the best.
I'm downloading it now. Give me 2 minutes.
We're
We'll have it.
down.
It was the best.
Channing, I got to get to something else because I think this is important. I know we're having
More
fun.
important than
no,
this?
I'm telling you, I need to know because we got to talk about how the team eventually broke up. I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know, fans were very angry. Like Kyrie we all loved Kyrie, and then we all hated Kyrie because he wanted out of Cleveland. Right. He recently said that he made mistakes that time. Kyrie is an enigma, right? There are times where he talks and you're like, this is the smartest guy in the NBA. And there are times where he talks and you're like, this is the dumbest guy in the NBA. I can't explain it. Explain to us, like, what is he the smartest guy, the dumbest guy? Is he in between? And what happened between him and LeBron?
So nothing happened between him and LeBron. I think everyone asked me this question. A lot of people asked me this question. It was more, have you seen like A League of Their Own?
Of course, yeah.
Do you remember when Kit, I think her name was Kit, was tired of Dottie getting all the attention?
Sure,
I think it comes to space when Kyrie hits one of the biggest shots in the history of the NBA in the NBA Finals that has never been done before. What's next for him, right? And it was always going to be Bron's team because of Bron's play style. So it had nothing to do with Kyrie the person. It has to do with Bron's play style. Bron makes me, Mozzie, Deli, Shump, Tristan champions. And that's just a fact. He makes us better because we have to be prepared. He makes us better because we expect to win every game. And he makes us better because if we don't win a championship, we're getting shipped out of there. You know that.
Right.
But you want that opportunity. That same responsibility does not come with Kyrie. And I think he felt like at his age, he could do that. But he didn't know all the other stuff that happens to that. The leadership, the understanding of substitutions, the diving into the game. And as Kyrie got older, he realized that his role of making a team good is vastly different than LeBron's role. And I think how they approach the game is vastly different. But Kyrie is an awesome human. He is extremely smart. But Kyrie does not live a regular life. Most superstars in the NBA do. So sometimes when he speaks, I understand what he's trying to say, but regular people don't, because do you think Kyrie goes to a regular restaurant? Do you think Kyrie probably gets driven everywhere, lives in a big old mansion on the top of some building? Yeah. He's involved in different charities. He comes and goes as he wants to. So it's different. He's not wrong. It's just not relatable at times, which is why sometimes you're like, what the hell is he talking about? And I'm like, okay, I kind of get what he's saying.
But the flat Earth, Channing. Flat Earth?
Yeah, he lost me
Well,
at
that
the
was
flat
on
Earth.
our podcast, and I think he was trolling.
Okay.
And then I think, so he said it on our podcast.
Yeah.
And
but then he
was
doubled
laughing
down
when he said it. And then when it came out during the All-Star break, I think he was more like trolling everyone.
Yeah.
But his main point was, I don't believe anything until I see it, regardless. That's just
that's
him.
fair.
That's Kyrie.
Yeah.
Right. And that's really what he was trying to say. Right. And so it blew up into this other thing. And he just goes, I don't care what people think about me.
Yeah,
which he for sure doesn't.
Fair enough.
No, he does not. He does not.
Hey, Channing,
which I love him for, because it is what it is.
We've got about 3 minutes before I let you go.
Yeah.
There's got to be one story. I'm sure there's a million. there's got to be one story from the 2016 season, finals or not, anytime during the 2016 season, that is your favorite story, one that you go to when you're speaking to groups or, just talking to non-NBA folks. What is your story from the championship season that you most love to tell?
I'll say this, and I think this is I don't only tell this to like basketball people, right? Because I've told all the other funny ha-ha stories. So we're playing, and I think people forget that year we were losing to teams we had no business losing to.
Oh, yeah.
And, right? And so all of a sudden everyone was like, hey, James Jones was like, enough is enough. Like, we have a week before, we play. We got to fix this, right? So James Jones is like, Channing, Mozzie, everyone coming off the bench. We're doing extra work. We're doing this. And really kind of rallied us and kind of brought us together. But it was crazy how we were just BSing a lot of these games. Well, they were. And it was just like, wait, I don't like losing. And the minute that it came down to who we're playing Detroit in the first round. I had never seen a team go from some golden retrievers to rabid wolves like that. I have never seen it. We couldn't practice. T-Lou wouldn't let us practice against each other. It was that intense.
Wow.
Like, it went from, who we playing, this or that, okay, to who is this? Who is my assignment? When does he get in the game? What are his favorite, tendencies? When does this substitution? Like, I knew when I would go in to the point of T-Lou really didn't even have to look at me. I'd go in, somebody goes in, I go in. I know the 3 or 4 plays they're running. I know the 4 or 5 plays we're running. And then, after every game, everyone, whether they played or not, was taking care of their body like they played 48 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
that's
we
what it
were
takes.
so locked in. Yes, so locked in. It was wild. When I say we were around each other 14 to 16 hours every day, that is no BS. Wow. It was, we practice together, eat lunch afterwards, eat dinner. You may take a nap, eat dinner. It was my family did not exist for a part. They see me when I'm going to bed, waking up, and after we win a series, it was just crazy how close. It was like, God, I'm so tired of going to damn lunch with LeBron. But I got to do it.
Hey, that's what it takes to be a champion, though. That's what it takes.
We know you got to go. We really appreciate the time. Real quick, last thing, just a minute on the current Cavaliers and especially your guy, Kevin Love, playing this new role.
So number one, Kevin, I talk to him every day. He's my best friend. This role has been great for him as his maturity of the game and to see the game in a different way. Kevin has always been, and I think is a very underrated power forward in the history of our game. What Kevin has done for the teams he's been on has been amazing. His skill set is top-notch. But again, in today's world, where is he best successful? That's coming off the bench, taking advantage of mismatches, being a great vet, teaching guys how to be champions. And so I love this role for him, especially if you look at the better teams in the league. They have 5 guys that are switching guys. Kevin isn't necessarily a switch guy at the starters level right now, but he is an absolute beast when he comes off the bench because of his arsenal, both offensively and to rebound the basketball outside of his area. This team is amazing. My biggest question is, if you look at some of the better teams in the NBA, how many guys can make a play for other guys, all right? You look at Golden State, who's elite. They got 4 on the court at all times. You look at Boston, they have 3, maybe 4 on the court at all times. How many guys other than Darius Garland for Cleveland can make a play for someone else?
That's a good point.
And that's what happened in the playoffs. When you take Darius Garland away, everyone at this age is uncomfortable driving, kicking, seeing the game with their head up. They're used to being singular style players. I'm just a 3-and-D. I'm a roll and catch. No, you got to be 2 or 3 different things for you guys to be better. Also, the jump that Isaac Okoro had this year was amazing. I need a bigger jump. I need you to be able to catch, drive, kick out, relocate, and be comfortable shooting those threes because of all the work that he does defensive end. You deserve it. You don't deserve 20 shots. I would say about 12 to 14 is good. But if you can get those, most of those aren't going to be threes. That you, with his athleticism, with his aggressiveness, he needs to attack the rack. And finally, the bench. I love Kevin coming off the bench. I thought Ricky Rubio was huge for them. I like Karis LeVert coming off the bench, but they need a guard, a up like a eyes-up guard to play with that second unit to make it run, right? And that's just my opinion.
Is Rubio an option there still? Do you think he can heal up?
If he can heal up, I would absolutely take him back. I think
DeJounte Murray. I want DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, but what are you going to give up to get him?
Where's he going?
Yeah, I know.
You got to give up the city for that.
I think Sexton, Okoro, and 52 first-round picks.
Hey, Channing, he also wants a pony for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, no. San Antonio.
You guys are dismissing DeJounte Murray. Isn't DeJounte Murray a superstar?
We're not dismissing him.
They were killing him.
No, we're not killing him. We're saying you're going to have to give up too much to get him.
Unlike an injured Ricky Rubio, who I think we'd have a pretty good chance at.
Yeah, we're pretty good chance.
Channing, before we say goodbye, I want to tell everybody you got the T-shirt on. Road Trippin'.
Great podcast.
It's a great podcast.
Amazing.
With you and Richard. It's unbelievable. It's the best in the game. Also, your work on TNT is fantastic. Expect much bigger things from Channing down the road, because he is, for my money, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Cavs fan and I'm biased, I think he's one of the best in the game right now.
Oh, he's phenomenal. He's the best.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
the best.
You and Kevin Love are in business with what's the name of the wine if folks want to buy it?
Chosen Family Wines.
Chosen Family
So after
Wines.
I left basketball, chosenfamilywines.com. Check it out. Just two guys that love wine that want to share it. It was a big part of our 16 team. Thank God, not too big because we won.
Nice.
But then you just took that and the experiences and seeing a new place. I was just in Napa 2 days ago. Mind was blown. I was like a little kid out there, check it out. Good
Channing, thanks so much for coming on.
You're awesome,
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. I could pretty much listen to him talk about basketball all day long.
I have so many more things.
Oh, I know.
And if he wants to come back
McNuggets,
on,
we
Channing
need
has
that
a standing
again.
invite.
We
But
need
we
that
have to
again.
get to this.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson,
he
during
spoke.
this interview, spoke to the media for the first time since
that's
March
why
25th.
Jay was trying to tell me.
I was trying to tell you guys, we as much as I hated to say goodbye to
Get him
Channing, I'm
up
like,
out of there.
no, Deshaun has talked. We've got to go.
What do we got?
So, as always, when we read what the internet is telling us, which is how we listen to Deshaun Watson, it is brought to you by PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils at Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, get a full benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. So, Watson, as we were listening to Channing Frye, Watson did speak to the media. He spoke for about 5 minutes. Anthony was taking notes for me, so I'm going to read his notes from that press conference. I will say the number one quote that I've seen multiple times on Twitter now, this comes from Mary Kay, quote, "I never forced anyone. I never assaulted anyone." That was the main quote takeaway from
doubled down from what he said on March 25th.
Yeah, and here are just some of the quick notes from Anthony, who did a great job following. Deshaun Watson says he's focused on football when he gets into the facility. He claims that he never assaulted or forced anyone into doing anything. He says he's not has not worried about the defamation suit. He's more focused on clearing his name. He stands by his statement that he has not harassed anyone, but he does apologize to the fans and everyone else for the circus that's kind of surrounded this whole situation. And he says things have been hard as the suits come in to deal with, but he's continuing to focus on football, and his main focus is clearing his name from all of this as he progresses. We'll have that full press conference tomorrow. We'll listen to it full. We don't have the capability of taking it live yet through our system, but tomorrow we'll react to every word Deshaun Watson said.
All right, very good. From the recap, guys, does anything jump out to you?
The only thing that jumps out to me, it doesn't sound like he said anything, really. I mean,
no, he doubled down on everything he said earlier.
It's the important thing is that they felt the need to say something. That's what we should be taking from it, is that they either they just feel like it's the right time, or there's been enough pressure applied, or something that they felt the need to go against what they have been doing this whole time and send him out to address that. That's what I would take.
And I think that's a smart move. I do. Your analogy was earlier, you could just stick your neck out and keep taking punches to the face.
Yeah.
At some point, you don't have to slander the accusers, but at some point, you do feel, I mean, if you're innocent, you want to scream it from the mountaintops. Look, in my mind, I did nothing wrong. Yeah. And you want people to hear that message, because right now the message from the other side, 23, 24, 25, 26, 66, it's been deafening. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that he's doubled down, that he said he did nothing wrong, and that he's not worried about the civil suits is the thing that I took the biggest takeaway from.
And I don't think Harden has done a good enough job of, just because they roll out two more people, where's your side of the table?
Well,
you're not communicating and speaking. You speaking on behalf of him, and so I think they realize the best person to stick up for you is you.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true.
This quote that he had that we read: "I never forced anyone. I never assaulted anyone." That could be true, and he could have still done something wrong.
Well, it's to the point that I made a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
In his mind, he may think that it was completely consensual and these women wanted to have whatever sexual relations happened.
Yeah.
It's carefully chosen language, that's for sure.
It is very carefully chosen language.
And I do think that I would like to know who motivated this. I would like to know if this is his lawyer saying it's important for you to get out there. I would like to know if it was the Browns who said it's important to get out there, or maybe the NFL.
What's your guess?
I wouldn't. My guess would be I think that his lawyer probably working with the Browns.
I think it's a good decision.
But I'll bet you the lawyer. I think Rusty Harden at this point says they're just taking a lot of flack right now, and I feel like they at least want to remind everybody of his original stance.
Sure. And again, he didn't say anything drastically different from what he said on March 25th.
But I did like the line about him saying that he's sorry what he's putting the Browns fans through. Even if it
acknowledges.
Yes, he at least acknowledges what this is doing to this fan base.
Yeah, because it hasn't been good for the fans.
No, it has not.
At all. McNuggets?
We are already in overtime, but as rule on this show that Mike Polk, when he is here, is required to do a final take.
Okay,
so we're going to let Polk tee up his final take.
Really quick, just a couple of things I saw from Browns camp today that I thought are worth noting right before Mike does. Everybody besides Baker was at mini camps, and there's nobody like holding out or doing anything like that.
Well, it is mandatory. There would be fines involved if not.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still good that nobody.
I saw Lamar Jackson showed up for the first time this offseason with the Ravens, too.
Right.
Sometimes people are excused for whatever, being old.
Injuries.
Now, this I got to double check this because I'm a little confused here. Scott Petrak tweets: Brown safety Grant Delpit hurt.
No.
Intercepted Deshaun Watson in end zone. I don't know if he put hurt by mistake. I gotta. That's a little confusing the way he worded that.
That's a horrifying almost piece of information.
That
would ruin four of our
we're
categories.
Running out of time. We got to do Mike's final take because 110 is our hard out
York
today.
missed a 52-yard field goal.
Okay. Oh, cut him.
Yep,
Get him out.
Go ahead, Mike.
The floor is yours, friend.
Bring back Charlie Blue. Or who was the other one? We had a guy named. There was a guy named Blewett that we were going to have signed.
There was a guy named Blewett.
That wasn't ideal.
Scott Blewett.
Not a good name for a kicker.
Nope, don't want to do that. So we addressed this earlier when we had our extremely impressive guest, Channing Frye, on.
Awesome.
And we showed you the first Mozgov commercial. Let's take a look at the second one now.
Hi, Mozgov.
Hi, Liz. You are my favorite daytime bartender at the Brew Garden. You really raised the ceiling.
And fabulous food, fine spirits, and fantastic people. Come visit me at the Brew Garden.
Brew Garden. Wow. You had me at hello.
Hi, Mozgov.
Hi, Liz.
Okay, so you get it. It's the same thing.
I did it twice. Run that
By
back.
the way, that woman was an actual bartender at Brew Garden.
Is that true?
Because we used to do our radio show from Brew Garden quite a bit. There was an incident, which I can't get into. Not involving me. Not involving me personally.
Involving her?
Something worse than that
No,
commercial?
not involving her either. Something much, yeah.
You did something worse at the Brew
No,
Garden
I didn't do
than
anything.
that commercial.
I didn't do anything.
Someone did.
The owner of the Brew Garden did something.
Oh, I gotcha.
But anyway, she used to be the bartender at Brew Garden, and then,
Yeah.
And she was a popular person.
I think, Mike, now that I see that, I think that you had me at hello was in reference to her being there.
I don't like that that makes no sense. I don't like that his hand leaves the frame when he says you raised the ceiling, which still is not a phrase
No,
that
it's
people
not.
actually
Never
say.
will be.
I don't, and my least favorite part that needs to be brought up is I don't like that he said you are my favorite daytime bartender. Why so narrow, Mozgov? You're telling me that Lisa's not even your favorite bartender overall, the Brew Garden? You like a nighttime bartender more, but
he's playing at nighttime. He goes there in the daytime before games.
Oh, that's so comforting. Well,
it
he's
is
Russian.
comforting.
That's their way. Anyways.
G. Bush really wants to say something.
We're gonna get that, but my whole point is next time Channing's on, we're gonna get everything about that. We're gonna break it down like it's the Zapruder film.
Why not get Tim? Is Mozgov? Is he back in Russia? You think?
He's got to be available.
Yeah,
I got Shannon's number now. We'll give him.
He's
we'll give him
tall.
a call.
He's probably on the Pacers still.
Can we go back to that shot though? It looked like Lisa was taller than him. What is she standing
on
on?
the table.
Yeah.
But we don't see the table.
No.
So it's all just.
No.
There's only one thing you're really seeing, let's be honest.
Right. It's that
that jersey.
Sweet jersey.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Terrible
absolutely.
jersey.
It looks like
We got
Delpit
2 minutes,
was not
Paul.
hurt. Looks
2
like
minutes.
Delpit was not hurt, but the Greedy Williams is working with trainers as usual.
All right.
See, that's my fear with both those guys.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Denzel, to be perfectly honest.
By the way, that commercial would not be shot in 2022.
No.
No, I don't think it would be.
Wait, you don't think it's, you know what? I think that guy would still shoot that commercial in 2022.
Well, he would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. Sorry. We're done. Thank you guys for watching and everything.
Yeah, we're out of
We got
time.
Joe Jaravicious, Maurice Claret, and
Maurice
Leroy
Claret's in for
tomorrow.
me. I'm off tomorrow.
Where are you going?
Okay, where you at?
My wife's having a little procedure.
Okay, well, good luck.
Yeah,
Hope everything
thank you.
goes well. Quickly, I know we got 90 seconds. We're playing a game tomorrow, Joe or Bro, because your nickname was Bro Jaravicious from when you infamously stood in for him during an interview, and the radio station never knew that it wasn't Joe.
Bro Jaravicious.
So each have given 5 statements about themselves to McNuggets that no one else would know. McNuggets will read the statement, and the panel will guess, is that Joe Jaravicious or Bro Jaravicious? And I can't
believe I'm missing that.
I know.
Executive produced by Jay Crawford.
Yeah,
nice.
No, I came up with that yesterday.
Jay
I'm very
Crawford
proud of that
joint?
idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bro,
we
that's
got to
good.
go. Good luck tomorrow with
Thank
I hope everything goes well. We're back tomorrow. We'll have the Deshaun Watson interview in total, and Joe Jaravicious is on the program.
Nice.
Have a great Tuesday. See you tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.